The stream's brought to you by Neo12. Play it. It's not actually brought to you by it. Not sponsored, but go play it. It's on Steam now. Go play it right now. I demand you. Welcome back to the stream. We're playing Danganronpa, another Despair Academy. Because the switch is no light, we brought a lamp. We have to rely on this dim light in order to investigate. Tamori, clearly she prefers others and tries to hit on the guys. But she too in her heart wanted to change, and we were getting to know her too. She didn't deserve this. Not only that, although it was bitter, we were always cheerful with Tamori. The tense thing went up. She really didn't deserve this. So then why? Why did you end up this way? It's no time to read. There's a lot of things I need to investigate in order to find out the truth. Tamori, I'm sorry for intruding. Really sorry. The whole body is bloody. Showing the monochrome file, the stomach and neck have stab wounds. The wound on the neck was still bleeding a little, and thanks to that, there was a bloody smell all over the room. So that means the death was recent. The knife stab in the neck must be the murder weapon at first glance. It seems this time the killer did not disturb the murder weapon or didn't feel the need to go back for it. It's a kitchen knife. Does that mean the thing could not be in anywhere but the kitchen? I'll have to check the kitchen later. And there's one more question about Tamori's body. The wound in the stomach. The culprit ended her breathing by stabbing Tamori in her neck. The file also stated the fatal location. If so, what's the reason for the stomach wound? The stabbed in the stomach and stabbed in the neck, or she was stabbed in the neck as a second attack after she fell down. This is a crafty killer. I really don't know anything because I don't have the specialized knowledge. Inori might know something. I should talk with Kinjo as well. If I were the culprit, uselessly increasing the wounds would leave more traces behind. There has to be a reason for the stomach wound. Anything more to be found in the body? If I take a look, the time Tamori died at 9 p.m. So whoever doesn't have an alibi for that is a prime suspect. Ask the others about it and find out. It's time to move. Huh? It's a piece of cloth that I see for the first time. It's bloody. I don't know what this came from, but it's bloody, and it's a little burn. It's enough to cover a human body. Maybe the killer stabbed Tamori when she was bleeding, so they used the cover to prevent it. Tamori suffered a lot of blood loss, so they had to contain it at the time of the murder. Of course, the cause of death was a neck wound, and with the throat cut, they had to act fast as it did from the floor with every second. Preventing the blood from splashing, that's quite premeditated of the killer. This is a lighter, right? A cheap compact lighter that is used to lit a small fire. It doesn't necessarily the firepower to create a huge one, but the fact that this lighter was here means that it must have caused the beginning of it, meaning that there should be some traces of it being used in the room. The lighter was under the cloth together with another object. There's a crumpled paper here. This is that thing again. I read the contents. I couldn't recognize the secret note. Monokuma told us about the motive and showed us all. Yuki Maida might be... It's my secret note, huh? Why is this the scene of the crime? The contents are almost burned out, so I don't know what my secret written in here is, but if it's a shameful secret to me, then there's so many things. No way, again, this motive caused another murder? Let's think about this for a moment. Did Shinomori pick up my note? Or wait... Really useful information. It is a joke after all. If you're old enough, you shouldn't be sleeping with your dad. You're a mess. Right, Tamori had Otori's, so that means the killer had my secret. It's possible they created the fire in order to destroy the evidence and burn everything. Was my secret going to kill someone they must? I'll take it. Maybe I'll find out something later. Doo-doo. This one stands out the most. The glass window is broken. I didn't know because it was dark, but through the window you can see the power room. The glass window in the power room was this one then. The window for the control room, but the window was broken for some reason. Did the culprit kill Tamori and sneak out through the window? That's a possibility. Break the window and then come from the side where the equipment is, and then go straight through the door that leads to the exit. The door of the second floor corridor. But I don't know if we were going to go straight to the hallway. Anyways, if I would leave the power room through the entrance of the control room, what's the reason for breaking the glass if not being used as escape? If you think about it, it's not possible. Going to the control room as an entrance, using the window as an escape route, because if someone heard the noise from the power room, it would have been a matter of time before being discovered. Besides, breaking the window must have made extra noise. I wouldn't have broken glass for no reason. For now, let's just leave it as a reference for later. This is what I've been concerned about from before. There's a long line of something running along the wall. It's a fuse. It's broken in the middle, cut with a knife. Or rather, it's a burn hook. The fire in the control room and this fuse. There could be a relation, right? Someone triggers the fire inside the switchium through the fuse. Was this the cause? Who? For what reason? Perhaps the killer did it, but I have no idea why. Maida, Inori, are you doing an autopsy? Yeah, Kenjo took over, so I'm gonna work hard. You said he had something to check somewhere else. While I was doing Maki's, we made the autopsy together. A terrible amount of blood loss. When about 1/3 of the blood volume flows out, this is not about 1/3, if you see. It's amazing that this amount of blood came out of the wound. Neck wounds are definitely fatal, but it would have self-coagulated to some extent after the heart stops. The amount of bleeding should have gradually decreased. So something else causes mass bleeding? If your blood pressure is high, there'd be a lot of bleeding. In simpler terms, there are individual differences. There's a lot of bleeding in this case, meaning it must have taken a while before she died. Thanks to that, Tamori felt a terrible pain before drawing her last breath. So, is there a killer among us in this case too? Are we gonna have to doubt each other and again and accuse people? If we don't, we'll have no choice but to give up our lives. Sorry for the negativity. I'll work hard for our sake. As for the results of the autopsy, what I found as a result, the time of death does match the Monokuma file. Oh, Amori's a she? I thought... Oh, what's this? Something's broken. Is this a broken flashlight? There's 2 broken flashlights here. This must have been Tamori's and the culprit's. Even with the flashlight, you need to turn on the dark switch. That could have been Tamori, right? Then how did the culprit manage to navigate without being noticed? But why are these broken? Was there a reason to break them? Or... Huh? What's this? Oh boy. Oh! It's 11:37! No! The funny number! XXXX. X4. No, there's 3 X's and a bigger X mark. Is that a dying message? A dying message? Is that something that comes out of Mystery Story? That's not only just fiction. Then this clue was left by Tamori when he died. Does this clue mean anything? I can't confirm since I'm not a detective. It's possible the blood sprayed in that manner by accident. However, due to the circumstances, it is likely to be a message. We have to decipher it. XXXX. I have a joke I'm going to make, but it's distasteful to a dead person. No, hold on. Sorry. Twitch.tv/KhepriProd. Okay. The window is broken, enough for one person to pass through. It's a big crack. Hold on. Is my microphone on right now? Yeah, it is. Okay. If you go through this way, you can go to the power room without using the entrance. There's a blood stain, but what is this? Tamori's body is clearly deep in the control room. The blood leaves from the entrance to the power room. There's no blood outside. Did the culprit kill Tamori and run away in a hurry? The struggle started at the entrance, so why are the windows broken? Breaking those weren't part of it? Besides, there's this blood near the entrance to the control room, but no blood outside. Did they wipe the blood spots off the power room? What in the world happened? Alright. I think we have everything we need here. Hey, Hanato, what are you doing? Oh, Maida, well, I'm checking you. Do you know what that is? It's a burnt... What is that? Burnt charcoal? Isn't that weird? Everyone gathered in front of the power room. There wasn't anything like that in the corner. Shouldn't we check what it is? Idiot. Dumbass. Hanato, what are you doing? Did you stumble into something? Gah! Oh, there's tripwire. Hanato, why is there blood? Hanato was wanting to investigate. Suddenly, it grabbed her leg and she started bleeding. The flesh near the thigh was dripping a lot of blood. Hanato! What? I heard Ayama-chan scream. Kya, Ayama-chan. Hanato, what in the world does the matter? Let's call in Nori, quickly. Hanato, how are you feeling? Everyone, don't come! Wire, there's a hidden wire! They're actively using blade. Who didn't start a trap like this and why? I got Nori. Yeah, Hanato, what's going on? She got trapped in a wire trap. Hey, Nori, what should we do? I'll look at her vitals first. Is there a place to treat her? Currently, the nurse office is locked. What place should we use to treat the wounded? By Nori's judgment, she takes Hanato with her. It's okay. Hanato's an athlete and has a strong will. Let's hope it's just a scratch. I'm worried about her, but there isn't enough trial. What kind of person would do this? That makes things interesting. Is the wire far away? It was installed by a culprit, but there's a target in the first place. If you do a trap like this, it's a complete indiscriminate attack against an unspecified person. First of all, Hanako, what I found is... This looks like a black object. This is a flashlight, another one. It's burned. There's also fire inside the control room. So was this burning at some time? There's a flashlight. There's already inside the room. So what flashlight is this? Someone must have used it. So there's a third person involved with this. Maida-kun, is Ayame-chan okay? What to do? What can I do? I did some cooking research in the kitchen. I wanted to make different recipes, but alas, I couldn't. I made the stick were wearing tempura and all the oil splashed on my clothes. I had to wash the whole thing in the bathroom because the washing machine wasn't working. Yami-chan went to go training. Yeah, he's in the chan. I'm so sorry. Thanks for telling me this. We need to find the culprit together. It's the end, Maida. It's the end of me. Why, Tori? Sorry, it might be my fault that she died. She was to check the items at the antique shop. I go there and check. That's also because when Maki died, a lot of stuff from the crime came from the antique shop. I was worried that would happen again, so I looked every day and perfectly memorized the type and locations of each object. So I looked at them and I found out some things were missing. All the time, the goods were properly in order. I can't think of what was missing at all, but I know that something is definitely missing. If you use the light and the flashlight, all disappear. The killer has prepared the tools very early in the case. The culprit is among those three. Right, Makaru and Urahara. It's one of them. Alright. My main sus is on you right now. You or Urahara. The wire was not from the thing. You're welcome. We'll do your best to catch the killer, otherwise we'll all die. Maida, what happened earlier? I saw Inori leaving with Hanato. No, probably not. Look at the case, the wire trap feels a little out of place. I'll tell you more about it at the class trial. I have some to do some research here now. Is this piece of broken glass in the switch-in window? This is also strange. The shape of the broken glass, temperature, and the directions the fragments flew off. The shards were quite hot because of the fire. How did this even happen while we were resting? In the first place, I don't know what the time... why were you at the dormitory? You said to follow that rule, didn't you? Come to think of it, you weren't here back then. There were only 6 of us. It was Taira, Hanato, Kurokawa, Urahara, Makaru, and myself. What happened exactly because of this fire? Why did the power room become like this? What if Hanato purposefully tripped over the wire to get sus off of herself? What if she knew the wire was there and purposely tripped over it too, so people would seem less sus of her? I was going something. I heard Hanato scream. And we hurriedly went to extinguish the fire with the fire extinguishers. I went to the switchium and turned off the lights, but suddenly I heard an explosion sound from the other side. That was this broken glass. When you heard that sound, you were all 4 together. Me, Hanato, Makaru, and Urahara were already at the switchium edges. There was a lot of smoke, but we were close enough to confirm each other's positions. That means the killer was inside the switchium, broke the window, and ran away. At that point, Tiara and Kurokawa were together. I don't like cutting it here like this, but I'll tell you soon. Anyway, I turned off the switch to extinguish the fire, and when we went inside, Tomori was dead. At that point, the body discovery, and after Tiara and Kurokawa came to the power room first. I don't know if you came after them, right? You all were together, but Urahara did not check the body. Urahara told me when I told him to check the broken window and went to the other side, but there are no clues of what we already see here. After listening to the broadcast, Tiara and Kurokawa came. After the rest, including me in the dormitory, came, correct? The development in the cave is roughly in this manner, but something is questionable. There's 2 people I'm suspicious of. Can you check on Tiara and Kurokawa? I want to confirm if they stayed together before the body discovery. Oh, Kinjo, 1 second. I hope this situation for you, but what's weird about the glass shards? It's neatly broken. The structure of the window is strange. Even though the glass is broken and body can pass through, the lights in the power room can hardly reach inside the switch room, right? No matter what the principle of the room was made of, it was marked and sealed at this level when the fire broke out. The outside of the power room would not have spread the flames more than what was expected. I can't explain in detail. I'll tell you at the class trial. Check out the alibi of the people I mentioned earlier. So Kurokawa and Urahara. Oh! Let's hurry up and finish this. Oh, everyone, please gather at the door of the red carpet. The class trial will begin. Oh, I hope this gets really fun. Well, I'm not done. Finally, it's time. Damn it, I haven't even investigated. I only checked it. There's also the situation with Hanato. Well, if I hang out here, Monica won't kill me because this isn't a joke. Somehow, with just the information, if I put everyone's heads together, I can definitely get through this like last time. Hanato, are you okay? I applied for aid as a substitute for bandage. Hanato, time is already running out. We have to go to the trial. It just showed up. We can't help it now. Rather, it's a leg, okay? Hanato? Maida, Hanato's leg. Well, what is it? My leg side tendon has been cut. I can't even walk. The damage might be permanent or not. I can't tell. It's unfortunate that the tendon part got cut so much. If I had surgery right now, I don't know if there's a room in the school to take that risk. You can't walk, let alone run. The lower part on the side, I can't have. Without any lower support, I wouldn't have made it here. It's outrageous. You're a track and field athlete. Is it okay to lose one's talent in vain? I'm sorry, if only we were a doctor who could fix it at once. Ugh, this wasn't Nora's fault. We shouldn't be arguing right now. Isn't the class trial about to start? Even if my legs were intact, if you fail in this class trial, you will all be killed. This is fine. I can worry about my legs later. So let's go now. If it's enough if Nora supports me. Hanato. Alright, I'm mostly sus of you. You're giving me death flags. Coming back in here. I remember when Kiyoya-chan died. I was kind of hoping this wasn't happening again. Hanato, is your leg okay? Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, no problem at all. Inoue gave me first aid. I'll get better soon. For the time being, Inoue will support my footing. Is that so? I'm really glad. We can go to the trial with confidence. The class trial. I'm going to stand in this trial with confidence! I was wondering when that was coming out. I see. By the way, Kurokawa where is she? I can't see Kurokawa in this room. Mikako-chan? I haven't been able to see her since the investigation. Where did she go? If they disappeared the hour, could that be that Kurokawa's the culprit? No, that's a hasty judgment. What if something went wrong? Hi, you're all here! This time I'm kind to you. I came out of the entrance, face to face. You done releasing the bowels, right? I'm really nice, aren't I? Then are we going down like thing? I'm sad no one pays attention to respond to me. What are you saying? Where did Mikako go? Huh? We're sure together? Oh, is it true that girls know what we found? Wait up, I'll bring her now. But what's the girl being late for? She could die if she's late, damn it. Hanato was injured, but she also gave me. She doesn't like late, but she likes guts. Kurokawa's not really the culprit, right? What do you mean, Kabashikawa? Kurokawa's not that kind of person. Not that kind of person. Did you guys not see Mitsuhiro started the killing at the beginning? That was... Or are you going to claim he's an innocent person? I mean... Something's odd. Didn't you guys used to tackle my words all the time? Tomori Kizuna did it often, but that bitch died. Hey maid, for some reason you're being awfully quiet. I thought you would be the first to put up the rebel attitude. Sierra, are you okay? You seem less energetic than useful. I just have something to think about. Oh? Alright, I think the maid, and I'm sus of Hanato, and I'm sus of the merchant. Even Kinjo thinks that. I can't confirm, but some of my suspicious figures, Kurokawa is one of them. I think Kurokawa is a red herring. Let's talk about that in class trial. Discussing things will only get things agitated. Kurokawa still needs to be here for the class trial. Kurokawa, what happened? I haven't seen you since the investigation. Why don't you leave the bitch alone and go down already? It doesn't matter if you wanted to speak to her here. Kurokawa! Trial, after it's over, I'll tell you. This is sus, very sussy. Headaches, headaches. What? If you are the culprit, you won't be able to survive when the class trial is done. Not her. Kurokawa, is there a reason you were being late? I know you don't like doing class trial. I want to stop the situation somehow, but it's really reached this point. What will happen next? First, let's try and talk. Only think about passing the trial and clear your minds of any misconceptions. All we must do is survive. Let's clear up our minds and face this. Surely we can make it. We can identify the culprit. I'm not alone. Everyone is here. I hate to doubt someone again and turn them into a killer, but I have to. Again, I have no choice but to do this class trial. Kinja told me what was happening at the time of the incident. At around 9 o'clock, Hanato shouted that the switch room was on fire. Hanato is track and field girl. He grabbed a fire extinguisher and extinguished the fire from outside. There's the sound of glass breaking when he entered. He saw Tamura's body at the end of the room. The order the people discovered the body was Kinjo, Hanato, Makara, Urahara. Those four. And then Tiara and Kurokawa came after Monokuma's announcement. Who's Tiara? Oh, you're Tiara. Ayana Tiara. Okay, so you two came after. Well, let's go. Let's reveal the corrupt deceit that committed murder again. Maya. Kurokawa, yes? Kitchen. I've been to the kitchen. A knife was missing. Your kitchen knife mean that they were brought from the kitchen, and... Never mind. What?! You're here! Great! Let's start a late night trial! Change! It's all what we all need! It's a repulsive room. You're so noisy when you start to fall asleep. Why not go to your own seat? Did you guys want to try once, or because your trust is falling apart? Shut up and start, you damn stuffed toy. No, stuffed toy, it's Monokuma. I'm not upset. Whatever. Even if you rush me, I was going to start over. We should finish this quickly and everyone go back to sleepy time, yeah? That is, if not, if eternal sleep for the majority. Okay, let's start. Tamura goes to classmate who looked for her reflection recklessly. In the end, she opened a real self to us. It wasn't bad at the very beginning. Brown. Not enough we can on the culprit committed an unforgivable crime that made Hanako lose her leg with a trap aimed at random. The trial that risked her life, the trial that took her life, a betrayal at risk of everyone's life, giving an excuse to survive, an excuse to kill, a fake trust in other classmates, a life-threatening debate, a life-threatening accuse, a life-threatening trust, a life-threatening class trial. second, only they will get punished. But in case you get the wrong person, I'll punish everyone second. Also, this translation is brought to you by Zeffy, so you better well appreciate it or punish you feel. Check the Patreon site for any new updates on the game. Enjoy the work in progress content. Now then, first, there's something I want to ask first. What are you going to ask? Last time was my first time, so I didn't have to question it. I believe I have to ask now. The body discovery announcement. What exactly are the conditions for this government to show up? Because I was the one who paid attention to that. When you find a body, I broadcast it. Only when at least 3 people have to find the body. Of course it was supplied from the beginning, and my case has to when TR found it first, then Maida, and finally Hato. Since the order was complete, it satisfies the condition of 3 people that announced it. So it doesn't include the killer. Well, that Franco here is not draw. For example, a week passes after the initial discovery, and the second one appears. Even the third discovery ring appears after another week later. The broadcast will also ring. Well, the first 3 people are seen, of course, in any way. The discoverers would sound a moment. The third person discovers the body. A witness to a crime includes the culprit? Huh? Because the witnesses include the culprit. That's a super great, very whole delicate matter. I see, even with a short sentence becomes a problem. Okay, I'll tell you. What? That's bullshit! You're mixing up the rules on your own convenience! Whether or not the culprit is included in the discovery will be decided at the end of the trial. When it comes to trials, I'm as fair as God, Buddha, God, and Jesus combined. Mitsuhiko, the culprit, must have been excluded from the equation of 3 people discovering the body. I excluded Hiko. In fact, it didn't matter if I included him, since the 3 people discovered were together at the time. Now, what about this case? The killer killed Tamori Kizuna. Yeah, that's right. Specification aside. Did you inhale oratory? What? My dialect is not that offer. I have the mainland pronunciation. You don't seem to be enough from the mainland to mix different parts of the country. No comment on that. What? If you would ask my opinion on this particular case, I'd be the one in trial instead. If a judge renders such it's unfair, that'd be a violation. You're also evading the answer. Fine, just looking at your reaction, I think it has a sensitive subject. I don't know what you're talking about. What the hell is Makara talking about? Someone let me know. Well, that does it for the mystery at this point. Let's go to this trial soon. Did you know the 12 o'clock passed already? Originally, I was going to start right away, but Miss Makara sounded weird and it's late now. Let's go. First, start with the erasure of the case. Please begin the discussion. I hate to follow my arguments worse, but let's begin with the case. That's the topic at hand, because the people in the dormitory this side of the situation wouldn't know the details of this incident. After listening to the body discovery announcement, I was in a hurry to find you guys, and then Tamori, she was dead in the power room, all with burn marks all over it. Reorganize the scene with the rest, and for those who do not know the events, for now on, take some time to confirm your positions with all. Kinjo-kun, don't you have anything to tell us before that? What? You said you wouldn't make anyone a victim if we followed you. For that purpose, we agreed, and you got a group of 3 people, and everything ended up like this. Good job. Okay, I have to make up my amends to risk my own life and apologize for that, but because I didn't keep my promises. But if you can't surpass this moment, everyone will die. It's a pity what happened with Tamori, but I have a duty to keep you all from being executed as the class trial. If you don't like it, I'll be out of the trial. Yeah, I'm in a competent guy, can't make promises anyway. That's enough. Everyone is on edge. Think about other things and focus on the trial for now. Yeah, Akane, you know your heart, but let's finish this first. Yeah, and Kinjo-kun, I didn't mean to... Sorry. Yeah, let's begin sorting out the case step by step. I don't need you because there's Kira with us. Oh no, Makara, you can say. Don't let me do everything. We have to do it together. I said myself, even for a dead guy, you must understand the truth of the case yourself. Now let's begin. Let's discuss what we heard and saw. The first part. Around 9 a.m., Hatana discovered the fire in the power room. There was black smoke coming out. It smelled like something burning. You mean that's what happened? I was at the antique shop, but I had no idea. I heard Hanato's cry and rushed to the second floor. Urahara and Makara were together as we bumped into each other on the way. We went first in the power room at the epicenter of the fire. It was hot and smoky. The fire was about to spread from the first switchium outside. What Urahara did soon after was use a fire extinguisher to put out the fire. So you brought the fire extinguisher from the hallway on the second floor to extinguish the fire, right? How does Maida know that? The only one in the area was Kensho, Urahara, Makara, and me. I asked Kensho about it while we were investigating. I told him, Maida knows the four of us were putting out the fire. I heard something break inside the switchium. At that point, Kensho looked at Urahara and asked if someone was going out of the power room. The other three, me, went to the switchium, and there, Tomori was dead. At that point, the body discovery was announced, and Tiara and Kurokara arrived at the power room soon after. Okay, from here on, our dorm team has joined. So let me speak. When we arrived, the fire had already been extinguished. After that, just like last time, Monokuma handed out the Monokuma file. But after I explained with the switchium, that happened. The injury. Shortly after, Hanato had an accident in which her leg was injured by a wire trap. Yamaguchi said it in front of the elevator. Didn't you hear it, dummy? Hey, Yama-chan, is it really okay? It seems to be a little fuzzy. It hurts a little right now, but it's not a major injury, so we can treat it properly after the trial. Ah, you, that leg room. Is this an injury more serious than expected? What are you talking about? Didn't she say it was okay? Even pretense is useless. You think I can't read other people's minds? You and that incompetence of the doctor made it clear that something happened. How about the leg injuries that so serious you won't be able to use it ever again? What are you talking about? Ayama-chan, that's a lie. Makara is just talking nonsense, right? Hey, sorry, I thought you might be worried more, so I decided to keep this with Hanato. Is it lie? In reality, Hanato's injury, the moving muscle tissue, the most important posterior tendon was amputated. Without luck, it's a serious injury that you might have to wear crutches for forever. Every detail matters. So sorry. Because of that, Hanato thought it was good to keep you guys. I'm so sorry that Hanato pretended to be okay. So sorry. Ayama-chan, it's a lie, right? Tell us something. Sorry, I was lying. What? Then it's really... Because the nurse's office is now locked and there are no facilities for the treatment to its wound. It's likely hemostasis. It's really hard to stand still. Hanato, shouldn't you be treated quickly, get healed, and come back to the trial lately? What's more important than the trial? Ayama-chan, she can't run again. I'm sorry, but I agree with Makara. Whether you're crippled, cut off or unable to walk, if you don't win the trial, you will die. It's more serious than you'd be mentioned before the trial. I lied that I was okay with this, because of this it caused even greater confusion. No, it's absolutely forbidden to leave the court during the trial. If you're worried about Miss Hanato's leg, you have to finish your trial first. You say that, but I'm also in agreement. I don't really care, but I want you to focus on finding the culprit. If the focus is on me, I'll die just standing. Don't you think it would be wise to finish the trial earlier? Hanato, it may be painful, but please hold on a little. Let's focus on the trial for now, everyone. Okay, thank you for your consideration. Let's get back to the main topic again. Where did we end off? We were talking about Hanato's injury with the wire. Shortly thereafter, in order to Hanato to provide first aid, we went out the power room and continued the investigation. Quiz, but I think it's a useless question. The health room was locked. But how do you do Hanato's treatment and where? You need something tough and thick to use a bandage, but there are some things like rags in the warehouse. He said it's really substituted early first aid. There's a possibility of additional sepsis or bacterial infection, so you need antibiotics just in case. But because someone died, is there really a culprit among us? A killer who shot Tamori? Why are you doubting it? That's a sure. But if you point at the killer gets executed. It seems like you're sacrificing one person to save a ton. So would you rather save the killer, so save the killer, or 11 of us would have to die? A guy who knows a person is cheap even if they die. How long are you going to waste your time on such useless topics? I didn't mean it like that. I'm apologizing. How come Makara didn't have to apologize? I understand Tori's feelings, but is it okay? I feel the same way because it feels like in the end, even if whether we point out the killer or not in this trial, someone will be killed. I wish there were no victims, but that bare Monokuma won't let us go. What kind of purpose does he want to achieve? If the case has a lot of twists. If you think of it as an ordinary case, it's not going to fit at all. Let's solve the mystery of each information. The priority should be the victim's body. Tamori's corpse was reported and clear, was able to tell the whole story of this incident. There aren't just one or two secrets related. There are one or two secrets related to the body. The corpse, based on my investigation. Oh, this is just the same. Okay. Got. Got. Stomach wound, Kuraka's testimony. What was Kuraka's testimony? I forgot. What clues does Tamura's body have? The knife was on her neck, true. The whole body was covered with blood all over, yes. It was terrible. Satsuki was vomiting for a while. She was dead. Is this relevant? Other than that, can you think of something more essential? It's written in the Monokuma that what he died of, and he gave me a clue that supports that evidence. Alright, so it is Kurokai's testimony. Oh, right! The knife was found in the kitchen. Tara, wait a second. The weapon that stabbed Tamura was not a simple knife. It was a kitchen knife. Kitchen knife? Right, it's even clearly stated in the Monokuma file. It was a cut through the kitchen knives were only in the kitchen. Is there any evidence the culprit brought it? There is, because Kurokawa said that a knife disappeared right from the kitchen. Right, Kurokawa? Yes. Too slow of a response. So the killer brought the kitchen knife out from the kitchen. It disappeared from the kitchen. But that's a little weird. If the killer used a kitchen knife, there's a contradiction. What are you talking about? I think I know, but why is Tiara talking like that? At the time of the crime, Tiara could have known that it was contradictory that the killer took the kitchen knife from there. That reason is... Tiara couldn't have known that it was taken from there because... she was in the kitchen. Tiara, that contradiction is because you were in the kitchen at last time. That's it, Maida-kun. What? What does that mean? Nikara, didn't you say you weren't gonna meddle? I said I wouldn't help, but I didn't say I wouldn't win his question, asshole. Tara told me she was cooking in the kitchen near the end of nighttime. Cooking? Yeah, it's because I accidentally splashed on oil on my clothes and wiped it in the bathroom. How'd the culprit take the knife without bumping into her? Tiara said it was around nighttime, but tomorrow's death was written at 9:30 in the Monokuma file. Did you put all the knives in place before we left the kitchen? Yeah, I remember when I was cooking myself. That is why it's called a contradiction. Do you think it's not a kitchen knife then? No, there are only kitchen knives in the kitchen. In the kitchen, the second floor was open and I've been searching all places ever since. But when everyone started investigating, didn't Kurokai say she saw a kitchen knife? The, is the kitchen knife? Which one is it? Kinjo, don't you know? Sure, it's a contradiction. You don't have to think about the ridiculous story of using another knife out of nowhere. Kinjo's knife worker. Now we're all finished. But there's only one way to solve this problem. Very simple, in fact. Tiara, you are lying right now. Isn't it obvious? The Monokuma was fought us alive. The time of death is 9:30. The kitchen knife is only in the kitchen. Therefore, the kitchen knife being taken from the kitchen killed those two facts. What proves that this woman was cooking in the kitchen? Were you together with someone? Yes or no? I was alone. I can't believe someone without witnesses. Anyone can use it if it's just a talkative alibi. Tiara is the culprit? No. Why am I the culprit? What reason is there for me to kill Kizuna-chan? She kept ignoring her persuasions. Did you bear a grudge? Kizuna-chan grunted a lot, but in the end she accepted us. The murder happened after that. I can see that you may not be the killer. Still, to say you were in the kitchen, you would be a lie. Why are you lying like that? I want to believe that you're not the culprit. So you're lying? Oh? Hello? Wait, I can't tolerate Akane being the culprit. I'm not trying to blame them. Akane's words can be proven to be true. What? It seems you haven't realized, so let me show you. The fact that Akane never lied. Counter argument showdown. If Akane's words are true, then it's simple. As soon as they kill Tamori, they put the knife back in the kitchen. The time of death is 9:30 a.m. You can't use the knife before that. No, there's still a contradiction. Did you forget? Tamori's fatal injury was a cut to the throat, meaning it's not hard to think that death was instant. In other words, the time of Tamori's death is almost consistent with the time of using the knife. You don't know that. In fact, the time of death, once the problem is solved, the culprit returned to the power room with the knife. I kind of left the kitchen. I honestly don't know. If Akane's words are true, when Tamori died, the knife was in the kitchen, yes. Then it's simple. As soon as they kill Tamori, they put the knife back in the kitchen. The time of death is 9:30 p.m. You can't use a knife before that. Shit. I lost. I think I know. Obviously, at the time of the crime, the reason is there's a person. Oh, because of the broken glass window. The reason is I forgot what I picked. I think it was this. Oh, it was this. Yeah, the contradiction is because you were in the kitchen last night. I'm actually stumped. Very simple fact. TR, you're lying now. These two facts can be proved with certainty, but what is? We can't prove that Tiara was cooking in the kitchen. Were you cooking with someone? Yes or no? Were you alone? Yes or no? I can't believe it's just a talkative alibi. Why is the room like this all of a sudden? I was really in the kitchen, you guys. But if Tiara's words are true, it makes sense. Tiara, did you lie? Why do you lie? Don't tell me. Tiara's the culprit? Why am I the culprit? There's no reason for me to kill Kizuna-chan. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna do broken window on the first truth bullet. The first thing. Alright, maybe it's Kinjo's testimony on that? No. Then what is it? Is it Kinjo's testimony on the other one? No, there's still a contradiction. Didn't forget Tamori's fatal injury was a cut to the throat, meaning it's not hard to think death was instant. The time of Tamori's death is consistent with using the knife. You don't know that. Alright, we did it. I cut through your words. Holoto, I'm so sorry, but there's a contradiction in that logic. What are you talking about? Isn't it possible to commit a crime while proving Tiara's words? The killer is taking out a knife out of the kitchen right after Tiara leaves the kitchen to wash her clothes, and they run straight in the power room and put the knife into Tiara's body, back into the body. If you move quickly, it's quite possible in less than 3 minutes to be the kitchen or the power room. By the time night began, you guys were putting out a fire. I don't know if the 4 people were in the power room and someone walks in with an object that's standing at the kitchen knife, it cannot be hidden. In other words, even if Tiara secretly managed to pull the knife out of the kitchen, it's absolutely impossible to enter the search room and stab the knife back into the body. I understand that you're a close friend to Tiara. Unfortunately, if Tiara's word is true, it would be an absolute contradiction in her testimony. Can I say one more? When the body discovery, the 4 of us who put out the fire and the 6 in the dormitory confirmed each other, so there's an alibi for us. But Tiara and Makako, you two have no alibi. Tiara really killed Tamori? No, I'm not the real killer. Really, the kitchen knife thing, I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken, but I'm not the culprit. I didn't kill Kizuna-chan. Akane, can I really trust you? But how do you explain that when you don't have an alibi? If you don't have it, that means either Tiara or Kurokara. You're the most potential suspect. Is it so weird to cook alone and go to the bathroom? I just happen to be alone. Tell the truth, and if you're not guilty, prove your innocence. Is Tiara really the culprit? Certainly without an alibi, there's 1 or 2 places to doubt. But was Tiara really with Tamori? I can't just doubt it yet. Not until all riddles are solved. I have to think about what's missing from the entire premise so far. Burn fuse line. Tiara's the Chinese culprit. What? Burn fuse line glass shards. Akane doesn't have an alibi. Since when? Kobashi Kawanesai since 8:30 p.m. That's what I think. If there's no alibi for about 1 hour and 30 minutes with a witness missing, that's enough people to kill. Enough time to kill a person for the fire. What was the fire for? There are a lot of confusing things at the scene. Lighters and flashlights and fuses, lines, etc. If Tiara doesn't have an alibi, she would be able... Space! Although Tiara doesn't have... She could have procured the truth of the crime. Let's think about the time when the tools went missing. What time did the tools go missing again? It was last night. Shit, no, that doesn't seem correct. I feel like that idea is wrong. Sad. I am going to watch a Your Turn to Die playthrough, because although I don't want to play the game myself, It is into the plot. In other words, even if Tiara secretly manages to pull the knife out of the kitchen, it's impossible to blah blah blah. I understand that you're a close friend to Tiara. Julie the killing knife thing. I think it's Taria's account. Akane doesn't have an alibi since 8:30. There's no alibi for about an hour and 30 minutes with a witness missing. Yeah, she has no alibi. That'll be enough time to kill a person and for the fire. I did not. What was the fire for? There are a lot of confusing things at the scene. Lighters and flashlights and fuse lines, etc. Solo wa chigayo. Wait, Kabashikawa, that's impossible. You mean about Tiara procuring the tools used in the crime. Tiara has an alibi for the time being. Bring the tools, however, sure is one. The reason I know this is because of the fact somebody told me. Right, Atori? Huh? Atori knew it. The lighter and fuse disappeared since the late night. My guess would be the antique shop again. Atori mentioned that he went to the antique shop every day. After Maki's incident, the antique store was filled with most of the items. Then on the night of the second day, the things used in this case suddenly disappeared. Oh, that's right. I checked them. Are you saying the killer took the tools late at the night of the second day? That'd be the case, unless Atori is lying. No, I don't lie. It's true. The second day, Atori, was almost 2 days ago. Why didn't you say something back then? I'm sorry, at the time I wasn't able to figure things out properly. It could be my own mind playing tricks. I wasn't really sure about it. Well, if you're sure the tools were gone then, the killer took the tools in the middle of the night on the second day. That is what happened so far, if I understand this correctly. May I ask why that becomes Tiara's alibi? We know Tiara can't go to the antique store, and the reason is because of the late nighttime rule, of course. Nighttime rule. Wait, what? If the nighttime rule. That's what Kendra decided. Do not come out of her rooms late at night after 10 o'clock. When did you decide that? Mikara and Ohara have no choice but to know, because the group decided when you were not there. They don't come out of their room at night, meaning all the rest who were on their own could have come out at night. In other words, Tiara was also in the nighttime alibi. I never came out of my own room at night. Wait a minute, there's no alibi at all. Late nighttime rule is in the rule set by Monokuma, is it? So what makes you think it's a genuine rule? You don't get killed from breaking it, and no evidence if you did, correct? She's got a point. I'm sorry, but I think the same thing. Even if Tiara's father was faithfully, it's no different from before without evidence. No, with that rule, Tiara's alibi could be enough. Oh, what is it now? Until now, but a defense like this, don't tell me you defend your own rules now, because that's himself for every rule. I know the laxity this rule has. Of course, as Mikari said, it wasn't a formal rule, so there's no problem with breaking it. Do you think of such a thing? I kept this a secret. I did some work on your private rooms. Indeed. Every late night I put a thin thread on the door of your private rooms. It is pasted so that it passes between the wall connecting the door frame. The tape will break when the door is open, and the thread will break as well. So if the thread was broken, it would sound like someone has opened the door. And I've been watching Wait at late night every day. At night I decided to put a new thread on, and I got up earlier than everyone else to check if any of the threads were cut. So I can guarantee you, Tiara has never been outside of her room past 10 p.m. Did you do that? Then you know exactly who left the room the night. Unfortunately, I didn't find that out. What do you mean couldn't figure that out? No, it's because no one has broken the thread. No one left the room late at night on the second day. Everyone besides the 3 killers, because those 3 were an exception. What if Tamori brought the things to the scene of the crime? I explained there was a device to check if you were out of the room. You couldn't trust it at all. You were spying on us without saying a word? You don't believe in us, do you? It's not my reality to believe or not believe. This is just my nature, my personality. I'm basically always suspicious of everyone other than me. What's that expression of disapproval? I proved Tiara's alibi thanks to the door, right? Reasoning itself is impossible unless you're basically suspicious of others. Why do you keep trying to fight? What we're doing this, Hanato's leg. Everyone calm down, even if you leave my legs. What? How many times is this going to repeat? Let's focus on the case. So it's just me and the priest who took the tools. Right now I think so. But isn't that funny? You guys, all the other kids suspicious, but... You guys, all the other kids are suspicious, but Tsurugi Kinjo is not at all. I'll say this again. No matter how many times you claim Tiara was in the kitchen, there's no proof without evidence. What do you prove, Tsurugi? That a guy attached a thread to the door? Where's the evidence that confirms your actions? If you think he's the culprit, in all sense he could sleep at will. Why is Tsurugi Kinjo not suspicious then? You do think I'm the culprit now? Well, I'm just talking about possibilities, but there's no evidence in your words, don't you? You investigate the evidence police history, right? The one who checked all the items was a torrent, even though it was just gone on the second day. There's no way to prove it. If Kinjo or Satori's words are false, isn't Tiara's alibi also false? Everyone in disarray. It looks like the reason to trust each other more than has their trust started to break. I don't want this outcome. I'm powerless on my own. Enough. Considering true Mikako, the testimonies that have been pointed out is already a testimony worth considering. I like to approach this from the other side of the case. Kurokawa, I think this is the time. Kurokawa was right, you guys. Now, don't mind the trivial things. A lot of time has passed. Focus instead on finding the culprit. As soon as you finish, will it be daybreak then? Am I already half asleep right now? You shut up. It seems we're enthusiastic about the killing being liars. As Kurokawa said, let's turn back halfway and move on. I think that would be good. I want to avoid making discord with you guys. Do whatever you want. To go around halfway, you mean talk about the identity of the criminal, or are you going to put things aside for a while? Whether Tiara read it lied or not, we don't have the evidence on who's read it or not. Let's first solve another mystery. Okay, that's fine too. They're more urgent and more pressing to go back for. But even if we go back, what do we do first? Basically the same as before. The most important thing is the dead body. Aside from who the culprit is, the path to the outline of the culprit will look more natural. The body. Tamori's body was the important clue. Let's recall in my memory how Tamori's body was looked. About we put a... Let's think how Tamori was killed. Let's think about it. First of all, it's a knife, right? Yes. Yes, the Monokuma file clearly points this out. Tamori was dead in the switchium. Why'd she go to such a place when there's not even light? It's possible the killer moved it. Anyhow, Tamori went into the switching room. instant death with a knife. No, I'm firing! So do I, Chigayo, motherfucker. Oh, Tori, that's not it. Remember? Tamori's cause of death was obviously the neck wound, but there was another wound. There's another one. The stomach wound, that's right. Right, that's the important point. So, I ordered a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards, so I'm making like a full deck. I literally like specific cards. The stomach was stabbed, why is that important? The killer just stabbed her twice, right? In general, but think about it. The cause of death is the neck wound. In this case, for some reason, you stab your victim in the stomach and then the neck later. If you were going to kill in the neck from the start, why do you want to stab in the stomach? The stomach was hit cleanly, but the fatal wound was missed. However, she was killed in the end. Is something amiss? Oh, that's so cruel. You could probably see it like that. Looking at the case as a whole, it takes something to put it into notice. Perhaps the fire has something to do with it. The fire. It turns out there was a fire in the switching room. Right, it's also important, you guys. Don't you think that the fire happened unnaturally? That's true. If you see a fuse on the wall and even a lighter on the floor, you can see it right away. So, are you saying that the killer started a fire for some reason? Is there any reason to do that? This is also a question that doesn't really matter. Is the power room okay? I'm sure the switch room is a really important place. It's a big deal if it gets damaged. Well, it's a really, really big place. It's cool. Of course there was a fire in there. Fortunately, we lived because the fuse line was laid to burn only the walls. But, oh, I wasn't supposed to say that. Huh. It was laid to only burn the wall. Oh, it was kind of puzzling after all. There's such a big fire, but Tamori's body didn't burn at all. Only the wall touching, without touching the machines of the body. Why? If it was a wall, what else was there? A wall. If there's something on the wall, in the switching room, nothing comes to mind. Wait, there's a line passing by it too. It was on the wall of the switching room, along with something else. The window, right? Was on the wall window. There's only one thing. The glass window. The glass window. That big glass window, but wasn't it broken by the time we arrived? It turns out when Kinjo and others by the fire extinguisher, didn't they hear something cracking or breaking inside? That's right. At the time, I only thought it was the sound of something in the switcher breaking the window and going outside. Asked O'Hara to check the entrance of the power room. In the end, no one was seen. Wait a minute, if the only thing on the wall of the switching room is the glass window, the culprit's purpose was to burn the window. When glass is heated, it becomes fragile. And the glass thing's shards were heat. The killer set fire to it and broke the fragile glass window while everyone put fire to the fire and took their advantage to escape. It's possible to use as a smoke screen. Actually, O'Hara tried to check the entrance, but they couldn't see anything of the smoke. Anywho, doesn't that mean someone was inside the switch room right before we got in? Then me and Kinjo, who were gathered at that point, O'Hara and Makar have a definite alibi, right? No, you guys are making a big mistake right now. Huh? What do you mean? Think more carefully. Then in your thoughts you can spot the contradictions. Not now. We were mistaken. What do you mean? Reorganize what you guys said. First you go into the switch room. Surely the fuse and lighter were used. Yes, the fuse was burned. The reason the killer used those, it's because there was a purpose for setting the fire. The fuse was only surrounded by the wall, right? That would have burned the wall. In addition to the window, there were no special items in there. Meaning the culprit broke through the window and the smoke started to spread. Did you check that in already? Glass windows are fragile when heated. Yeah, the molecular state changes and cracks occur. The killer was prying the glass in order to escape. No, because it broke cleanly, right? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what? As Kendra said, I think we were mistaken from one thing. The broken glass. That's what I meant. What are you talking about? We know for sure the glass window is broken. Yeah, the glass window is broken, but it wasn't broken by anyone. That's a bit ridiculous, but I guess it's not a wild fantasy. Might have made a very precise... the window was broken alone without anyone touching it. Is it possible? Like I said, the glass is weak to heat. Of course, it can withstand to a certain degree, but if it's heated directly or the temperature is severe between indoors and outdoors is severe, the weakness becomes more prominent. Do you guys remember the structure? It was completely enclosed except for the... Even when the fire broke out, I couldn't feel any heat inside. Isn't it too much for glass to break just by a thermal change without any external force? Of course, the conditions are right, not impossible, but... I don't know what you're saying. Right, as Annoy mentioned, the logic is a bit far-fetched, but what if the conditions were met? I don't know if anyone noticed because it wasn't a part that... it wasn't noticeable, and because the switch room itself was dark. But the glass window of the switch room was very tight. That is, if the heat alone was left enough for the time, Kendra's words would make sense. Hey, it's an interesting reason, but what's the basis of it? That it was only possible that the glass could break on its own hearing this? You didn't throw this without thinking, suggest without thinking, right? Because Kinjo's remarks have an adequate basis. Isn't that right, Kinjo? You also noticed it, Maida. Yeah, actually I was guessing when I said the window was broken by someone. The exact reason is probably because of the glass shards, right? Correct. Please don't tell me I'm the only one in the world who doesn't get this until you give me a proper explanation. At first, I only knew that the killer would make use of the killer of the window someone was in the fall, but can't you say investigation? Then please do. I need to investigate this window more. One second. I heard about this whole situation. I don't get what's weird. It's neatly broken. The glass window was neatly broken. What does that mean? If you broke it with human strength, it wouldn't break like this. It's human power. It's neatly broken. What do you mean it's a broken shape? What when I listen to Maida and think again, it really makes sense. If someone breaks a window with a hand or a blunt object, it should crack and break like a spider web. Have you ever experienced it, Ludwig? You accidentally broke glass to the shape of a broken glass? Oh, definitely. It looks like it was broken into a very complex shape, like cobwebs. But what about the glass window in the ship room? It's a broken shape if this part of the window got neatly removed. No matter how you look, don't you think it was broken in an unnatural way? Mikhail, you must have known this much. I'd like you to stop trying to test me. Don't think of the class trial as a joke, Mikhail. Oh my, thanks for the advice. I'm just worried that one day you'll become as lost as each friend of yours. Kidjo, don't mind Mikhail, keep going. Actually, they just finished explaining. Wait a minute, if Kidjo's words are true, then when the fire broke out, does that mean no one was inside the switch room? Wouldn't that be very likely? If someone was inside and were trying to escape, it would be quicker to break the glass manually instead of waiting for it to be heated by itself. Because Urahara opened the entrance to the power room and guarding it. No matter how thick the smoke was, if someone would try to leave, they would have been caught. At that time, we thought we hadn't seen them because we all knew someone broke the glass, but in reality, no one was inside the switch room. And thus, the killer deliberately heated the glass and braked itself. And the reason for making us think is the reason is to make us think that someone inside broke the glass and escaped. In the end, everyone's alibi is no longer solid. Eh? Think about it. If there's no one inside the switch room, the killer was able to start a fire in advance. They could mix us at any time. If that's the case, aren't you saying that it's possible for everyone to put out a fire, including Kinjo and the group, to put out the fire when the window is broken, and the rest of us in the dormitory side? Nani? Oh, you mean we don't have an alibi either? Yamaguchi is right. Anyone can commit a crime by reasoning from the information provided so far. Isn't that established under the premise that the person who caused the fire is the culprit? It hasn't been clear yet, but it's too hasty. There's no reason for a person who's not the culprit to set the fire. Even so, at the beginning of this incident, Tamori's death, was anyone close around that time? I mentioned this earlier, but I was cooking alone. I was looking around the warehouse for things up with the treatments. It was useful for Hanato's first aid. I was just in my own bed. What, Joe? You mean everyone was alone? Then there does not seem to be anyone near the crime. The only way we could see each other was to find out where each other was, but the alibis were lost, with the exception of Mikharu, Urahara, and Kurakawa. There's no evidence that everyone has an alibi or to deduce the culprit. That's why. You mean there's no one in doubt? No suspects? Then who was it? Tiara, except you. Is this deja vu again? Maybe we're in an infinite loop now. Stop that economy. Didn't you talk about her testimony finished before? It wasn't over. It was just that. It was just that it was put on hold because there was so much uncertain information. Whoever the culprit is, they have to prepare a fusion later, but it was mentioned that Tiara didn't come out of the room in the middle of the night to went to our private rooms. I'm uncertain about that. I'm suspicious of each of them, too. Should we even use the information we have, even if it's uncertain information? Every information is objective. I apologize. I'm really sorry. Even if there's an alibi for bringing the tools, I keep that in mind. Tiara's lie, however. To be honest, it's the same with me. If she's the killer, why did she make such suspicious remarks? Well, either way, Tiara wouldn't be able to get the tools, so she can't be the killer. Enough with this argument. You are really just stupid. Is it so stuffy that you can't see it? Want me to share some insight? Or did I? Then I won't meddle. Do it yourself. No, that isn't... listen first. Makara might know something, you know? I'll tell you one thing for those who are ignorant and poor is that there's a method for the criminal to get all the tools without using their hand. An accomplice. You suspected that there could have been an accomplice in the last trial, right? Isn't it less likely? Only one person could escape. Moreover, even if there's an accomplice, it's impossible for them to bring the tools. In the middle of the night, because the tool disappeared, not only because Tiara, but because none of us left there, except for the three that didn't act with us. It's got to be Uhura and Makara who helped Tanya. Surely Makara were able to roam around any restrictions that day. You don't have to doubt me. The person who brought the items from the antique shop, it's... Based on the testimonies, there are only 3 people. Makara is saying that the accomplice is obviously visible. It can't be that person, right? So I was right. Makara, the person who brought the tools, you mean it was Tamori? Huh? It was Tamori? That's right. If you have an accomplice, Tamori Kizuna shows up. You can't see of anyone else, can you? By the way, I'm so ashamed that Incompetent had to answer this. Surely is a victim, though. Why is she an accomplice? That, I'm not sure exactly, but the only ones to bring the tools were Makara, Uhura, and Tamori. To be in contact with a criminal at some point was one of them. Incompetent, this is a common pattern. The story of a criminal tricking someone into a crime. Speaking of which, the criminal took the accomplice in the end. Kinjo could also bring the tools at night. There's no way to prove that Kinjo was out of their room at night. Didn't the time run out while you were talking about that? Believe or not to believe. You're free to believe. Now I think it's wise to follow more information and see where that leads. Imagine if Joe Biden references Ding and Rampa another in his next speech. What? That'd be insane. Tamori did something funny. Didn't Kizuna change your mind? That should be a reason to help and kill the killer. She can't get a... I need the things. Breathe these things for me. It's not enough an excuse. No, that is not. You too. Everybody, this is too much. Why are you so anxious to turn me into a bloody killer? You don't even have an alibi. The only difference between you and me is that I made a mistake once. You all got an appropriate sick, sir, hunting wishes. Is that it? Apologies, but it's a situation that doesn't seem to be bad as it is right now. I'm the culprit just because there's no certainty at all. As the culprit, is that really it? That's why I said there's only one thing I was suspicious. It's a witch hunt if there's no solid evidence. Just think about it. Is there no convincing evidence? Was Tiara telling the truth? Oh, it's all in Korean. This is fun. Great. All right. This one. This one. And let's do, this one hasn't been used yet, so that one. I did it. What did I spell? I don't fucking know. Come to think of it, there's a clue about the culprit's identity. Oh? A clue to the killer's identity. Is that true? If you knew that, why do you... Then how do you know it's a clue to the killer? Maida, what you're referring to is the dying message, correct? Next to Tamori, there were things written in blood. Yeah, everyone, take a look at this. This is a dying message presumed to be written by Tamori. This is a clue to the culprit, but I think it's a good idea to discover rather than being suspicious of Urakane. But what does it say? Do we have any letter? XXXX. I don't know what that means at all! I think Kinji Mikara might know. Isn't this a professional job? The victim cannot afford to waste their time thinking. If you think a little, it has various meanings that will need to be solved. Just change your perspective a little. The meaning of X. You guys are really stupid. Of course not. There's nothing to understand. This is not a password. It literally points to the killer. That was it. If you don't know, even after telling you, so I'd rather be executed and die. Katakana. Katakana word. Think about it. Katakana is... Wait, katakana. Also, this dying message looks like the letter X at first glance. It really looks like katakana. A letter that reads like X in katakana. Mi is the most familiar one I can see. No, there are many other things. Japanese can be differently even if they're a little skewed. It's not a strange person if they write in their own blood, but it would be weird if they'd write straight. The middle X and third X have long strokes. If X becomes tilted, it becomes me. Where the vertical stroke is long. Toe, E. I don't know what that means. I'm getting a headache. X has a symbol that's hiding. It's buried in the big X next to it, so it's hard to see. Kinjo, your reaction seems to be reaction after knowing the correct answer. Mikara and Kurokawa's words, I seem to realize it. It seems like there are other people who've solved it besides me. The identity of the message. The first letter is me, and the last one... Me... I... To... And then a hidden... Me, I, to. Could it, is it, you? No, I thought this was wrong. Let's think it again. Me, I, to. I almost like goddamn. By the way, who's your favorite in this game? Right now, it's Ray. My favorite character is Ray. Sorry, I wasn't looking at chat. Right now, my favorite character is Ray. Mi, I, to. You? Yeah, hints are fine. Just don't outright tell me the answer. I don't understand Japanese, so. Mi aita. Is it you? Mi-ido. Mi-ido. Mi-ido? Is it me? It can't be myself, can it? Mi-ido. Hatano? Maybe it's you? Alright, we're just going down the list. Is it you? Mi-ido. That is... Is it the maid? Is it actually the maid? I didn't think it would actually be the maid. The meaning of the dying message. As Kurokawa, the text was written in katakana. It looks like the letter X because it's a little bloated. Do you know the meaning of the dying message? Yeah, Kurokawa, Nakai, and Kinder's hint set on. I'll explain it to you guys from now on. First off, the letter mi, this is easy to understand if you look at it if you confuse it with an X. The second letter is probably I. Okay, the third letter is probably recognized, but I guess based on Kinjo's voiceless remarks on the two letters, is supposed to be do. This one is close to I. Oh, Maido. Oh, which is maid in Japanese. Okay. This far, there's one word that comes to find. Maid. Ultimate maid. Do we have time for the rest of the trial? 4:46. Yeah, we have an hour. Tiara, among us, funny. The word maid refers to, I can't think of anyone but you. Akane. It's really her. You killed Tamori? No, wait a minute. There must be a misunderstanding. I mean, something like this. This is too much. The dying message was written by a person. The Lord does not lie. As long as the... Was it a lie at the beginning of the trial to cover up her crime? Tiara, tell me with your own words. Are you really the culprit? Me? I'm not the killer. Why am I the culprit? The dying message may say the word maid, but there's a big X to it. You've only interpreted the X. The X should literally be an X. Doesn't that mean negative? In other words, it means not the maid, so I'm not the culprit. I don't know yet if what he said is true. Certainly we haven't decoded the full dying message. I don't recall seeing messages like who's not the killer. Mm-hmm. Doesn't that mean the culprit themselves wrote the dying message? Minae says the dying message made X as it seems, meaning the only one who would benefit from writing that would be the maid. That it is not a maid would be the maid herself. Is Ciara really the culprit? But what is this feeling? Is my heart screaming? I feel like all of this is so contradictory. I don't think it's her. Obviously, it's true that Tiara is suspicious. However, there's a problem yet to be solved. It's too soon to end like this. That must be the cause. A secret that hasn't been solved yet. The third flashlight. There were 3 people there. There was the maid, the killer, and the third flashlight. There's a third person there. There's the maid, there's the victim, and then there's the culprit. There's the cheerleader, there's the maid, and then the... Anything remaining? Only for murder, you're thinking. Cases other than murder. Oh, the injury! We never solved who set the trap. We never found out who set the trap. I agree with that. Yeah, right, that's it. Did you find out something out, Maida? I think it's still a bit early to call Tiara the culprit. I still can't conclude for sure. Thanks to Kurokawa, I can think of something actually. Right after the incident, do y'all remember Kanato's injury? Why was Hanato injured? Think about that. Why'd she get hurt? You saw it. She was hurt by the wire trap in the leg. Who installed the wire trap, and where does this come into place? The killer must have installed it. The suspected killer, meaning TRS, installed the wire trap, right? When was the wire trap installed? I don't know exactly what, but I can guess because I was there. Charlotte was trying to grab something, and the wire was installed along the way to serve as the bait for it. And the wire must have been installed as soon as the object was placed, and the object wasn't there, at least until that point. So the wire was installed. Would you have time to install it? Immediately after starting the investigation. The wire is not visible, so the exact installation time of the wire is unknown, but by other elements it can be inferred. Hanako wasn't hurt. When she was injured, I know I was right next to her. She was approaching to find some object, and she was caught in the trap. Hanako, do you remember? Are you referring to the burnt flashlight? Yeah, there was no such thing in the corner when I found the body with everyone in the powder room, but it was there after the investigation started. But did anyone walk over there before? It could have been set up before, and then they just tossed the flashlight. It's strange. This is weird. Weird. Is it not weird? Why are you suddenly yelling? If Tiara's the culprit, it means Tiara installed the wire right after the investigation began, but that's impossible? Why? Because Tiara was with me. There was a relationship? Don't put a joke like that in a time like this. Does that mean... I know this exactly where Tiara was in the same place as I was, and we didn't do anything. I mean was, I was going to do some investigation, but I still made make progress, so... It's Tiara's story. I swear to you, Tiara's been stuck in the one spot since everyone gathered in the power room since the trial announcement came out. There's only one spot that was inefficient, even if you did a little investigation. Why did you mention this Tiara? Everyone participated in the investigation, but that is not a reason. It doesn't really matter. It matters that, Tiara didn't do anything at the time of the investigation, meaning she couldn't install the wire, right? But what's called a maid? It's not just that Tiara lied. She's still suspect. You can't explain the wire trap. What's going on? I think my head will be weird if it gets twisted anymore. If you want to die, do it. I won't stop you. Logically, it's playing itself separately, as if several incidents seem to be gathering together. Why? What's missing? It's as if the contradictions don't stop to conclude that Tiara is the culprit, but there doesn't seem to be any different direction in the case. Why? What is the truth of this case? If Tiara isn't the culprit, what are we doing so far? Is it all good for nothing? But if that's the case, who's the culprit we vote for? Other Tiara, is there another suspicious person? Kurakawa. Kurakawa suddenly disappeared during the investigation. Yeah, if it's her, why didn't she bring up why did she lead us towards talking about this thing? We had Tiara on the ropes. It was Kurakawa's discovered the kitchen, even though they were investigating why they just got arrived late. Kurakawa, you're not a killer, right? Please answer us. Don't be uneasy. I'm not the culprit. The reason for my being late, I can't tell you now. After the trial, I'll tell you why. I'm sorry, but trust me, I'm not the killer. Isn't a bit too much to say? She doesn't seem to have anything to do with the dying message. It would have been possible to install the wire, however. Hi, you really are fools without answers. Shouldn't you be aware of this? That's the truth of the case. I said that helpful, but once such a trial my life at stake, if there's no answer, I'll solve it. So in other words, you're idiots with no answer to the extent that I have to come out like this. She knows something. Mikara may give us a clue. When you're looking at goals for your reasoning, I can see how hard your brains are. To put it simply, you're fools who try to solve the same solution without thinking of any other method without thinking of the problem and solved. Thank you for your kind summary description, but do you know yourself? If the same method worked, you should know how to challenge it using a new method. Understood, child? Throwing away stereotypes. Oh my, when you get so quiet, when it's so quiet, you finally open your mouth, Psycho Police. Is it not a problem that the best young police officer in Japan gets slower answers than a professor? It doesn't matter, but then I guess it's all a competition for you. Let's say it's not. There's nothing to be gained from the charade. There's something sparkling between you two. Stereotype to throw it away? Did you both find out something? I was about to be overthrown by the killer because of my misinterpretation of the case, but I deserved it. I was guessing to some extent, but I didn't think the case would be so twisted. It's natural to say that you guys made it public. This case is simple. There's a criminal, and that criminal killed the victim. If you try to solve it, there would be contradictions. This isn't a murder case? No, it's a murder. It's clearly malevolent, but You recall what I mentioned earlier? An ordinary murder case would be difficult to solve if you think of it as a simple step-by-step scenario. While investigating the trial, I guessed the outline frame, but at that point I couldn't confirm this either. However, as the trial progressed, Tiara's reactions and the dying message being solved, a truth was reached. To be resolved, a riddle that has been solved so far is derived from a clue, but this culprit is not a case where there's one culprit and one victim being mentioned. There's an accomplice, but didn't Monica say accomplice had no advantages? It's a bit ambiguous, but a third party other than the criminal was clearly involved. Who was it? You, Tiara. Tiara was a third party? Is it different from a culprit or accomplice? I like to see it like that. As you guys said, if you're the criminal, you have to install a wire trap, but Tiara herself couldn't do it. Because of Yamaguchi, you also saw Tiara stand still during that time. Then Akane no longer needs to be questioned, right? I don't get it. If Tiara's in the culprit, I don't know why the question pointed to the maid. It's different from accomplice, but it's also a third party. Maybe she's not even aware of it. The woman's personality is showing her heart in the face. It's proof that the maid lied and wrote the dying message, lying to everyone here. Okay. Tara isn't just a suspect, she's a third party. Not sure what that means. According to your reasoning, if this goes, Taria Akane looks like the culprit, but for Tiara Akane to put the wire trap is not possible. There's a contradiction. It's okay to say that your reasoning in return is the correct answer. A rookie mistake! Someone clean up this mess! In the first place, being a third party, does that mean there's a third person besides the criminal and the victim? 3 or more people is involved in the crime. Is there any evidence to prove this? No, or how? Wait. There's evidence of 3 or more people being involved in the crime. A flashlight, of course. There's one more flashlight. Hatana, that flashlight you were trying to pick up. The flashlight, right? But what does it mean there's one more? I think there are some people who haven't seen it. There are 2 broken flashlights. By the way, Maida, other than those 2, the third flashlight, on the day the second floor was open, everyone saw it. It's a dark place where the switch doesn't light up. Without a flashlight, nothing is visible. And the fact that Tamori died there would have been have something to do with the switchium. In that case, she might have brought a flashlight. So one of the 3 flashlights would have been the one Tamori brought. And if you don't see anything, Tamori is not possible. It means that the culprit killed Tamori inside the switchium, so the culprit also took a flashlight. So the second flashlight was brought by the killer. Maida explained it very well. The switchium is not in no place and there's nothing visible. So they have to carry a flashlight in order to go there. Even if I went, I would need my flashlight back once I'm done with my business. There's no reason to leave it behind. Wasn't this the aftermath of a struggle between the culprit and Tamori? There's evidence that all the 3 flashlights are involved in the incident. The last one was burnt. There's a flashlight before it caught on fire. That flashlight was on the scene. Now do you realize this is so full, according to your inference, the fact that the case was the adequate basis of this case. You must have known. Probably the killer tried to use Tiara. I call Tiara a third party, but this doesn't mean you simply witnessed it or helped the killer. How Tiara was involved with the incident. Not the culprit, but the executioner. What's an executioner? No way that fits Tiara stabbing Tamori. That's right. The criminal who killed her breath with the critical hit, but it was Tiara who made Tamori moribund. What? You're also a criminal who committed attempted murder. You said you couldn't admit that Tiara was the culprit. Why did Tiara... There's another criminal who inflicted a critical hit, even though she was executioner in the first place, and I can't believe that Akane did this. You're right, Tiara would never do something like that. It's starting again. Didn't people say that they can't know just by looking at them? How do you think Tiara is not the one to do that? We let her go? Don't you mean... Exactly, a dying message pointed towards the maid. But why isn't she the culprit of the direct murder? That was also started by her. The woman didn't have time to solve the wire. Right, even you? Why? I love to think that. I know Kinjo thinks it all too, but if you look at the scene of the incident, there are traces of other traits that were probably left by Tiara. Spot selection. Look for places. The method is simple. A photo is a picture of the current topic. Appears, aiming point. Okay. The killer set up the fire to make it look like it went out through the window. The traces left behind the face contradict the original intention of the killer. The traces in that place, you do not know the killer's intention. I have to use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Alright, remember when we discussed earlier about why the killer just started the fire? The fire was used to heat the glass and to make us think the killer was inside the switchium and smashed the glass to escape, right? We almost got caught in that trap and confused our reasoning. If the killer's purpose is to make us think they broke the glass, why is there a blood stain at the entrance? The fire room outside should have been filled with blood spots. Does that mean the blood spot was after coming out of the switch room because it was dark? There's 2 broken flashlights inside the switch room. It was broken during the struggle. You wouldn't know that the blood was splattered in the dark after you stabbed Tamori. Then the blood traces come from Akane. After the killer attacked Tamori, they could have set off the fire without walking towards the entrance without knowing that the blood was on it. In this situation, there's no room for Tara to intervene. The one who killed Tamori probably didn't splash a drop of blood near their body. Because maybe the killer used that tool to prevent the blood they stabbed. That tool was the towel. Actually, there was a piece of cloth covered in blood in the corner of the switchium. Anyone planning a murder must be concerned about the bleeding. Probably they use it on Tamori without a drop of blood on your own body. The real culprit did it. Are you saying that Akane stabbed Tamori? I can't believe it. Why would Tiara do that? No matter what you did in the end, there's separate a real criminal who directly... You're not treated as a criminal at the trial. If you admit to the crime, you won't be executed. So tell me why you did it. I'm sorry. You guys are right. I'm the one. I stabbed Kizuna-chan. I'm not particularly sympathetic, but I'm curious. Why'd you do it? Kizuna-chan, because she was a human being who had no choice but to die. It was you herself who defended Tamori, was you? It was just in case I got found out. I made an excuse and got scared. I never decided to kill and stab Kizuna-chan. You didn't stab with the murder intention, but after that remark, you seemed to despise Tamori. Let me give you an explanation. I'm not sure what they know, but the day after the motor came out, we all went to persuade Kizuna-chan. Actually, Kizuna-chan was also in loneliness. She tried to convince stuff. I finally opened my heart. I finally became friends. But that evening, Kizuna-chan had something to talk about, so she called me to the switch room. I took a flashlight there, and... Kizuna-chan, are you here? Wait here, Taria. I know you wanted to talk about something, but why in such a dark place? Yeah, no one's coming here, right? What do you want to talk about? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm too scared now. You know the motives. Our secrets are written in there. It seems like you all threw it away, but I got... look at the contents. What is this? Yuki Maeda might actually know the identity of the mastermind? What? Maeda, is that true? No, I'm just a normal student. You're not playing with us where you know about them, do you? Oh shit, I can't trust Yukon as long as I see that. It's not just that. Knowing the mastermind, they might play with you and try to kill us after. No, Maeda wouldn't do that. False, you don't know people just by looking at them. Mitsuhiro did the same, remember? Then what do you want to do? Even if you tell the others... No, that's not the case. We can kill him with our hands. The reason I called you is actually this. Aren't you close to Yukon? Wouldn't you be able to take him out? If you could only help me, how can I kill Yukon? I brought a fuse lighter in front of this knife. Once you pick up Yukikun and call him somewhere, I'll stab him with this knife. If you kill, we'll die in the trial. That's when the killer is stupid to be caught. Don't you think that the only way to get out is to murder someone? If my murder is successful, I'll help you. What do you think? Let's get out together. But there's literally no point to an accomplice. I'm not a human being who will rot in this place. A bright future awaits me once I get out of this place. I got everything ready after those 2 days. I brought these two here earlier today. I'm going to kill this traitor. Wouldn't it be less guilty to kill a bad guy? You better think and join me here. You've been prepared for murder since the second day? Then you didn't open us. Oh my god, this stupid bitch. Of course I was acting. Do you think I'm going to go and fall for that crappy event? Oh! Alright, so you just do what I tell you to do. No, you're lucky I choose you. Please bring Yuki-kun here by tomorrow morning. Rush it out murder, and I can't believe that Mighty-kun is such an evil person. That's obviously Monokuma's lie. I'm not going to help you, Kizuna. Please wake up, and if you're with us, we can find a way. Okay, you. Well, I didn't expect you to cooperate from the start of the murder. I have to change the target now. Hey, Kizuna-chan, you dodged it. Why are you doing this, Kizuna-chan? Why are you asking? I'm trying to kill you. Kizuna-chan, you already knew I was going to kill her, remember? I can't keep you alive. It's a pity you can't kill Yuki Maeda, but it doesn't matter if you can't get out of here. That's true? Tamori tried to kill you? Even so, before the motives came out, she just made up her mind to kill someone, and all the appearances she showed us were an act. Yeah, Tamori Kizuna is that kind of person. You felt in danger of your own life and killed Tamori in self-defense. That's not right. I didn't intend to stab her self-defense. Then why did you? I noticed the keys in her chin. I was too scared. I tried to run for it. I was pushed by her and fell forward. The flashlights I was holding broke each other. That's when the two flashlights were broken. I couldn't see anything because of the flashlights, and I was right next to Keys in the Chan with a knife. I tried to resist with my whole body. I think it was pure luck. Suddenly, Keys in the Chan at one point became really quiet, and I thought that was my chance to get out. When I looked at my hands in a bright place, I saw a lot of blood. There was a lot of red on my clothes. I got in a panic, didn't look behind me, went out of the power room, and went to the bathroom to wipe the blood. I was everything clean with water until the smell of blood washed away, but then the announcement came out. I thought Kizuna-chan was the one who I stabbed was found, so my vision became white. After that, I went to the power room. There was a fire for some reason, and the switch in was all messed up. There's someone else. Do you think it was you who killed her? That's not what happened. What happened was I never meant to stab her, whatever the intention, good or bad. Once you look at the results, they are Taria Akane stabbed Tomori Kizuna. You cannot change its meaning for whatever reason, you might say. But you said I wasn't the culprit. Yes, you just stabbed her. There's another killer who said it caused the fire and the fire blew. If this trial settles safely, it'll be the real criminal, not you. So, your sins will be laid aside after the trial was over. Don't think you'll just go over it. Oh, he's mad at her. Because if Tomori hadn't been stabbed, then Taria would have died. That's right. Don't be too forceful with them. Taria herself is more distressed than anyone else. Hey, second to the fact that it was a crime of first assault. The trial isn't over yet. Now that we know the case, we need to find the culprit. The trial is the most important thing. Ayane, don't blame yourself too much. In the end, you survived. I think it's best possible that Ayane lived. Isn't it important to be alive? Now then, let's organize the case based on Taria's words. Tomori tried to create a plan to kill him 2 days ago, and she tried to kill Taria in the process, but her plan failed and she died. This is the whole story of the case. Now then, let's do a little summary. First of all, the people involved in this case are 3. One is the victim, the second person, the criminal, is not been identified, and the last is the third party, Taria. Tomori, who wanted to leave here as soon as possible, planned a murder, but even before the motives came out. The rebellion was just an excuse for Tomori, and for the first time, she attempted to make Taria join forces in the crime. That missed, and in return, there was an accident where the knife ended up stabbing Tomori. Taria was surprised. She ran to the bathroom, but when she heard an announcement for the trial, she went back to the power room. There were things like the fire that she didn't even done. So the killer made use of Taria's talent and put the blame on her in order to make us vote for her. She's not the culprit of this case, right? But then who is the real culprit? The true culprit's identity. Ah! Uranami, what is it? Did you figure out something? No, but it's just amazing that Kurokawa is very active in participating in the conversation. I have to say, there are already hints about the real culprit. Really? Who is it? In general, there is no one who does not have a noticeable ally other than Taria. It is possible for anyone to commit the crime. There's only one of us who would let all the situation to their advantage, and very precisely, I may add. There's someone who's taken advantage of the students with too ridiculous time. That could be a coincidence at first glance. The fire was not started by Taria. Then the real culprit set the fire. When you leave the fire, the corpse would need to be burned, and you don't know when it would be found. If you install a wire trap as bait for a burnt flashlight in the corner, there's a possibility that no one will find it. They purposely tripped over the wire. The person who led all the situations to their own advantage. The person who led the case so they can solve it on their own accord. They're strong enough to instigate the incident. The first time they noticed the fire in the wire trap, You noticed the wire trap on purpose, and you tripped over it on purpose. As Kendra says, there's only one person who can move the situation to their advantage. That person is Hatano. My dude, did you get tired? The culprit was the one who hurt Atana's leg. But what if Atana's the culprit? She was aiming her own leg? Nonsense. It'd be more reliable to say, I'm the one crazy. Please don't mess with me, Banachan. No matter what Ayama-chan being the culprit is. No, that incompetent made a very precise reasoning, don't you agree? The culprit is Ayama to Hatana. She must be. True suspect. The true culprit of this case is not strange to any of us. The reason because Tara pulled the ceremony of the incident. The killer was only a light maneuver on the scene. All of our alibis were also in the dark, and there are contradictions no matter who you put a killer. However, that's why Atana's behavior was even more natural. What are you talking about? The killer made an alibi by building a fire and finishing Tomori herself, in which Tara couldn't. Then here, who was the first to discover the fire? That was Hatana. You shut up, second-hand killer. It's not only that, even though the corpse was found, a killer installed a wire trap to be aiming at someone, and who was the person who discovered that first? If you made an alibi trick, if someone found it first, there would be too many dangers. But if you set a fire, you can create the best situation you want. The criminal himself is putting out the fire with other people. That's right, because the original purpose of the killer's fire was to break the glass and heat to make it look like something the person had escaped. If the killer was with other people in that situation, they would have their own alibi. It's a crappy trick, so I didn't even doubt it from the beginning. Hatana would have had enough time to install the wire. Listening to Taria's story, Tomori brought all the tools, so you could use them in the arms of the dead Tomori. There must be something wrong with that. There could be a coincidence. Hatana is the culprit just like that? Why is the person being picked up silent, but the others are noisy? Why are you being quiet? Are you exercising your right to remain silent? Do you think this is a joke? It's just so absurd that you left me speechless. I'm standing here and being treated as a criminal. This isn't funny. Anything to object to then? Of course, you don't seem to realize it. I'll tell you why I can't be the killer. Why can't you be the culprit? Okay, looks like you guys are missing one thing in particular. Tomori's time of death. Do you remember it? 9:30. Was it not specified in the Monokuma file? Yes, it was. 9:30 p.m. Huh, isn't that weird? And about 9:30 p.m. I was putting out the fire with Kinjo and the others. Accurately, that's true. So what happened? Tomori might have told someone to meet at the 9:30 p.m. and she was stabbed in surprise. At the time, she was still dead. I can't see anyone. I can't be the culprit. The arrangement. What? I don't get it. Time of death. Yeah, it was specified in the Monokuma file. 9:30 p.m. It said around that time, right? Yes. Oh, that was right. Okay. I expected to be totally ass wrong. Hatano, is that really so? Is this your opinion, Hatano? Because the time of death is 9:30. The culprit killed Tamori by stabbing her at 9:30. But that's not the case. Even if you argue that Hatano's words are true, at first glance, after putting some consideration to the circumstances, at that time the killer was not already inside the switchium. You have no choice to. This is a problem you solved earlier. From the time the fire started tonight, Tamori must have been started. The alibi trick of breaking the window remotely would be meaningless. But what happened to Tamori's time of death? No matter how you think of it, the reasoning is a little mixed, meaning perhaps Tamori, before Tano discovered the fire, it may have already been 9 o'clock with a knife at her neck. Can live for 30 minutes with a throat pierce? I don't really believe it either, but I'm not saying for no reason. There's evidence Tamori survived for that long. The first reason I can think of this is thanks to Inori. When Inori was investigating, there's something you said to me. It's a terrible amount of bleeding. This is more than 1/3. It's amazing that this amount of blood. The wound in the neck was fatal, but it should have coagulated to some extent. "9:30 p.m. Tamori just had a stab by a knife in her neck. If she died when we found it, the blood would have not been spread out. Of course, when we discovered it, there was still a little bleeding. Most of it started to harden, and naturally, such a deep liquid had been flowing after 9:30. Tamori's wound is not just in the neck. Could it have flowed out of the stomach wound? Of course, it's possible, but there's another proof that she'd been alive for longer. There is? If Tamori died in a blow as soon as the throat was pierced, there's a sign that should have never been here. Because Tamori knew the real killer was, and killed them other who killed them other than Tiara, such a marker was written by them. The X! The killer wrote Tiara, and then you wrote the X. Dying message. Didn't that story end up pointing to the maid word? Yeah, but when I came back to it, there's a big X after the word maid. That meaning is correct, as we guessed before, not the maid. I thought Tiara did it as a self-act. There was the reading as a... I mentioned it before, but after seeing the blood, I went to the bathroom right away. Tamori wrote the word maid in her own blood to let us know. If that's the case, why is there an X next to it? It wasn't the criminal's own doing, but the victim herself adds an X and writes not the maid. Ah, I see. She tried to contact the dying message as she wrote maid because there was another person... Correct. Oh, she wrote maid, and then someone else stabbed her, and so she had to correct it. If Tamori died immediately as soon as her throat was cut, there wouldn't be a correlation in the dying message, as she would have been left out of strength to muster. Her wit was still living as much as being able to correct the message with all the strength while holding a knife in her throat. How Tamori had a cut and was alive, that much I don't know, but the things I said now proved Tamori was alive. Therefore, even if Tamori's time of death was 9:30 p.m., there's no evidence you could say they were incapable of committing this crime. Hey, Amachan, this is a ridiculous story about being alive with a stabbed neck. Hey, Amachan, please say something. It's hard to believe, but humans are creatures that sometimes achieve phenomena behind sometimes in terror movies. Nothing strange at all. I don't know why Hatano did this. If my reasoning was wrong, it would be really weird, but there are many situations. The more I think Hatano is the culprit, the more it fits. Hatano, let me hear from your own voice. Your voice. Hello? I can't tolerate this. I know it's hard to believe, but if you can't believe it either, if you look at Hatano's actions, it only needs to say you could still say suspicious that everything goes in her favor. There's a reason it wasn't suspicious. I'll let you know why Hatano isn't the culprit. Do you have any idea? Hatano's leg was hurt by the true killer. But if Atana was the culprit, are you saying she aimed for her own leg? The wire worked for a person aimed at a random person. Hatana was unfortunately caught against will. Do you really think so? Even if you target an unknown person, it's meaningless if it's not found. No matter how you use a flashlight as bait, finding that one in that short time, it's weird too. That was just by chance. No normal person would care about their own body. The killer wants to get out of here. There's no point in hurting your own body. If Hatana was the culprit, Hatana would aim for her own leg. The reason is, I'm sure the wire trap was only meant for Hatana. Consider the situation. Okay. Because she wanted to make it as crippling as possible so she could get sympathy points. Oh no, I'm sorry, but there's another evidence that Donna is the culprit. The culprit wouldn't hurt themselves, right? What if it was calculated to induce that thought? If you're a criminal, you can never hurt yourself. What if you were doing a self-play pity to drip? There's no gain for the killer to install the wire. They ended up murdering and finished the process, but after that, when they installed the wire aimed at someone, it only adds suspicion. There's only no benefit from the killer. That's not the only thing. They installed wires to target someone. Even if so, how do exactly you intend to cut the leg tendon? As stride length and cast size are all different. Okay, the cutting the tendon might have not been on purpose. I wouldn't install the wire. You don't need to use the wires while holding your risk at risk your future. I was aiming at Ayame-chan from the start, so I saw the wire exactly in the position of Ayame-chan's tendon. How do you know that? It is difficult to know the position of a tendon without calculating knowledge, but if you solve... So I'm getting tired of reading. The only one who has that knowledge of the surge is the Nori. Her own legs at the same time he knows about... At the same time, he knows more about the mothers of athletes than Hatana herself. And no, Hatana was never caught in a trap because of bad luck. Because she was caught in the trap she installed, she was able to do a perfect tendon cutting accident. That was pretty good. Well, I'm the one who saw Hatana's wound. I can't believe she made a wound with such evil intention. I'd rather be the culprit. I'd rather be executed. I can't believe it either. I wish it were all just dreams. I wish my reasoning had turned into a mess and wake up from this nightmare. Is this how everything ends up? Overall, I have the same opinion as Mada, but I want to at least hear the confession coming from her mouth, because I have to make sure. Well, it's too late to argue at this point. Ayame Hatana, can I take your vote of silence as an affirmation of your crime to end this? No, Ayame-chan, it can't be her. It was me who stabbed Otori. I'd rather do that. Akane doesn't have to be executed. And, of course, not me either. Going to try last act. It's not that. I just want to survive with Akane and leave this place. That's it. I'm not convinced. If I'm the culprit, you haven't... Isn't trial after you convince the criminal to admit their defeat? What are you going to do? Does anyone know any evidence to satisfy a killer that talks like that? I have to play around or watching this field struggle, but there's no mystery to solve anymore. What are you going to do now? Even if you say that, Ayame-chan's words assume what if. Ayame-chan's not assuming they're the culprit. Okay, then let's reorganize the case from the beginning. We may notice if something was missed. One more definitive proof to convince Atana. If Katana is convinced by saying this, if she's convinced, how should I react? If Atana is the culprit, should I just accept that? I have no choice to do it and show her the proof of her crime. Read the tutorial for IQ, deny its existence, and proceed. Really? Think again, Maida. I failed. Oh, damn it, I couldn't break through the rattle, but if it doesn't break through, let's try again. This is so fucking hard. Ah! Come on! Okay, we got it. Thigh tendon. Left side. I want to ask Honori just to be sure. Where did the Tana say she was injured? Her thigh, more precisely the left side wide laceration caused by a hamstring injury. Why are you asking all of a sudden? Inoi, the hamstring refers to a muscle that is important in keeping the leg straight. Where exactly is the location of this muscle? It's the one that connects. It's a muscle that is widely distributed in the back of the leg. What's this explanation for? No, this is important. Very important, in fact. Inoi's words just had a decisive clue that Tana was the culprit. Everyone heard what Nora said. Yeah, the back. But why did Tana go forward to pick up a flashlight and then the back of the thigh ended up being hurt? She stumbled forward but got hurt in the back of her leg. I can't think of any other reason than one. On her own volition, was caught deliberately in this trap to inflict a wound as fatal as possible. I don't know why he did that, but pretend to be a victim and draw less suspicion. Why this choice if you Why do we make a conclusion now? I'm tired of the cockroach of Tariakani and Tamori Kizuna, although I believe it's all over now. The person who's driven to the criminal is just still there. Why are you upset? Just stay put. It's really hard to accept, but we have to accept the conclusion we're on, and or else nothing will end. Let's. The culprit blocked a large amount of blood by dripping with a piece of cloth from their own body. She saw blood on her hands and was in a state of panic. And then they started the fire. And then she tripped. The start of this case begins after the first trial and ends when the second floor opens. It was late night on the second day after she got out. This is someone who stopped by the antique shop for a purpose. She got some tools from the antique shop. She brought the fuse, the lighter, and the flashlight. This person's identity was Tamori, the victim of this incident. She was, even before she had her motives, all the tools she picked up, Tamori procured. As a result, she died, and the real culprit of the case was one who had to use the tools she prepared. On the morning of the third day, Atori stopped by the antique shop every morning. Must have noticed that some items were already meeting. Sadly, he didn't have to tell us because he thought it was a simple mistake and must have created confusion. So without anyone noting, Tamori's murder plan proceeded slowly, and then Monokuma gave us the motive. As everyone knows, this motive, but it was a joke that no one cared about. But only Tamori was different. Tamori thought she could use this motivational note, so she had to decide a step. She got Yuki, that's right, me. She decided to add, she got the note with Yukimata. She told Tyra to come to the switch room alone, and she headed to a place without a doubt. Who's Tyra? You mean Akane? Tiara seems to be a little petty, but in fact he wasn't exactly swayed. By acting weak, she wanted to weaken our boundaries. The appearance of being lonely, the appearance of hesitation, the appearance of accepting us with tears was only a fake scene to kill even a little more smoothly. We were all fooled by Tamori. Tiara at the time wasn't aware of Tamori at all, so she went to the dark switch room. There, Tamori showed about a secret note and revealed the plan to kill me. Yukimata might actually know the identity of the mastermind, but I don't know that. In order to kill me with that pretext, she needed Tiara's help. Tamori tried to get Tiara out like that. But Tiara didn't follow Tamori's words. No matter what, murder shouldn't be done by anyone. When things didn't work out as intended, Tamori gradually began to reveal her nature. Once Tiara refused, she couldn't let Tiara lead the one who had heard the murder plan. So instead, Tamori changed the target and was to the one who expected to refuse her and decided to be killed when in front of her. Tamori ran into Tiara without warning, but luckily Tiara avoided the first strike. Tiara avoided it and tried to run away, but it was pushed and fell. In the process, the flashlights that Tiara and Tamori had were broken, and now they were struggling in deep darkness. The encounters then suddenly ended. I don't know why Tamori became quiet, but Tiara was in danger of life, decided to leave because she wanted to get out of the situation. The first thing she found out when she got was the intense color of blood on her hands. Tiara only saw the blood in her body. She realized it wasn't her own blood, and she realized she must have stabbed Tamori during the struggle. Tiara, who was shocked in fear and horror in her head, ran to the bathroom. She thought about washing the blood quickly from her. And by looking at Tiara like this, the culprit perhaps found out what she was done. It's not clear whether or not she found Tiara, but the killer must have found Tamori. Someone other than the culprit in this case, they might have saved Tamori by calling it Inori, but the culprit in this case didn't have that thought in mind at all. The culprit noticed the situation, must have found Tamori in a dying state. Tamori, the dying message she wrote. Tamori, realizing she was going to fly, wrote on the blood to notice the identity of the killer. Not made. She meant to refer to the ultimate student, Tiara. The thought that passed the killer mind so far was not thinking of telling everyone to save Tamori. The thought of killing Tamori that she couldn't breathe just so she could blame the wrong person. But then the killer committed a terrible act that is hard to think of as a human being. In order to do the final blow, they first put out the knife stuck in the stomach. They aimed the knife again at Tamori, just to put it back in her neck. In the blood, the killer was wearing a piece of cloth about the size that could cover them. In contrast to Tiara's sad Tamori accident, you can see it was an intentional crime. That's how Tamori lost her strength to live. Tamori thought about killing and even tried to kill Tiara, but still, did she have to die so badly? The Khepri succeeded in killing Tamori was through a fatal wound, was now starting a backup operation. The killer installed the fuse by drawing a line around the walls of the switch room. I don't know where Tamori originally intended to use it, but she used the tools that Tamori had. In the end, since Tamori prepared the tools, the killer themselves couldn't be suspected of the act. We had a hard time figuring out who brought the tools because of this. The fuse was installed mainly on the glass window, not to burn equipment as much as possible. The lighter was originally brought by Tamori, and for that reason the glass was made to break automatically, was because the temperature inside the switch room becomes hot after a certain period. When the criminal themselves, if they heard the cracking sound longer than they made this think, someone inside the switch room broke the glass. The killer had the perfect alibi. This was the unusual structure of the switch room, and the glass window was cleared. It was possible because of but the trick wasn't that meticulous. No one noticed the fire when the fire was being made. It was a futile trick, so the killer turned the plan into action more than anyone else. After completing the installation of the fuse, the criminal reported the fact of the fire with a loud voice as if they were the fire discovery. Some people came as intended. Those who heard the killer's voice were kindred. Those three people. Three people who had not yet known that a murder occurred decided to extinguish the fire first without dreaming that one of them were the killer. Even the killer came with a fire extinguisher from the hallway and started to extinguish the flames. But then us, to the killer, to everyone, Tamori, who must have had a throat pierced, was still alive. It was a strange situation. She was holding on to the threadline lifeline. And Tamori used all of her last strength. She corrected her dying message that wrote "maid" with a large X next to it. In other words, it was telling us not the maid. I would like the killer's name instead, but just an X with the throat stab was an incredible feat to do. After correcting the dying message, Tamori's life was gone, bleeding because her heart was beating, and until the amount of blood increased more than that of an ordinary person, and thanks to her, we could prove that Tamori was still alive. Of course, that would have been fatal for the killer, yes. Of course, originally, looking at the words "maid" put DR in doubt. She could have done it, but the X was left remaining for no reason. The elaborate plan was doomed to fail. Tamori, even though she tried to kill and couldn't be forgiven, she acted. At the end of the day, she was trying to tell us the correct answer with all of her strength. And the situation goes back to the power room. When the fire was put out, the setup was almost completely staged. After hearing the sounds of the glass breaking inside the switch room, this was done by the best conditions. Thanks to this, everyone thought someone inside the switch room broke the glass. Everything was the way the killer wanted. The killer, who was on the scene at the time, had a smile of satisfaction. The three of them, except Uehara, checked on the sound, and the three of them saw Tamori's body. At that point, the body discovery announcement rang. Everyone else arrived, and perhaps Tiara, who was in the position of the third party this time, was most surprised because Tiara did not know the existence of the criminal, and she thought she was the culprit. Yet a fire incident happened that Tiara herself did not know. So it received the Monokuma Fire 1. The killer started the last act. The killer put the third flashlight they used on the floor. The flashlight was also known as charcoal because it was caught in the fire. They threw something that catches our eye on the floor in order to create a certain situation. The killer ensured a sharp wire on the way of the flashlight, and she talked as if she found a flashlight and voluntarily walked to pick it up, even though she knew there was a sharp wire installed. Here, the killer deliberately gets caught in the wire trap and cut their own leg. It is also precisely aimed at covering the back tenant. I didn't even think at the time that the killer was going to cripple their own leg, although it was a culprit intention to make us think so. One mistake of the killer here is that the rear tendon in the cut is to decide rocking forward. But I didn't even think about it because the person who thought and injured one at the time wouldn't think that. It must have been the culprit's idea whose purpose was to get out of here. The culprit, he gave up one leg of themselves and showed a look at victim being all this. Thanks to it, we almost got hooked into thinking, would you cut your own leg? While staring at us, the killer would have been laughing inside. In this case, there were three people, including the killer, Tamori and Taria. But also, most of the suspicions went to Taria, so the identity of the killer was ambiguous. However, as a result of matching Taria's honest statements with their intentions, we were able to uncover the identity of the killer. The criminal tried their identity by throwing away their leg. The perpetrator who committed such a terrible thing. The identity of the culprit was smiling with a smile of deceit, watching our actions. It's no one other than you, Hayato Atame. God, that was a long fucking trial. How about it, Hatana? If you have anything to object to, please tell us. No, wait a minute. Something is wrong. It's not like this. Really? What's not it? It's all decided. Shouldn't we end now? No, it's not over. It can't be over. But even if everything's correct and there's evidence, I can't convince myself. Hayato is the killer who murdered her told me that way. It's all over then. Please tell them they're wrong. No. $85, $80, $80, $95, $90, $90, $90, $870 points. Ah! Oh, what? Are you done? Oh, what the hell? You guys took so long that I fell asleep in the middle of it. Nope, I never sleep. Mr. Monokuma, do you sleep? No doubt. You guys seem to have come to a conclusion, so it's okay to go into voting time? Okay then, vote with the switch in front of you said as the last time, and we do not accept invalid votes. At least the result of the voting. Who will be the blackened? And will the answer be the correct one or the wrong one? Now, what will happen? Did someone else translate this in the first chapter? Because the first chapter is really well done, and this one is just... That's amazing! Hayami Atano was the blackened. The answer, did we do it? Did we get the culprit? Why is the answer? I'm not happy to guess this. Oh, by the way, the vote wasn't unanimous. Me, it's Tiara, and no matter how much you want it, voting on yourself, you don't want to see us out, okay? It's a big deal, so be careful next time. Anyway, whatever you say, there's only one truth, and I say it, right? I don't lie when it comes to class trials. You guys said the answer you came up with the end, right? Denying this is nothing more than escape from reality. Only the judge was talking. Everyone else couldn't breathe because the result of the trial was so terrible. Miss Tiara played the role of accomplice, and the case was extremely extreme. But it was also because the incident happened late at night. Why did the girl such as you kill her? You watched your mouth. This can't be true. How did she kill her? We want to believe that, but... Stop it, Akane. Any more than this, and it will make it worse. I can't hide it anymore. I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing? Tomoe was killed by me. What? Yeah, well, you don't have to make another announcement because Monokuma already confirmed it. That's right. If the answer you came up with correct, all our reasoning was correct, we're asking to end the trial early so we could heal your leg as soon as possible. If you're the killer, that doesn't make sense. Why did you do it? Please answer us. Why? That's obvious. It's because I want to get out of here. Other than that, there's no reason to get murdered. I want to get out of here. That's why I had no choice but to sympathize. It was just the choice of murder as means. OMG? Haha, you finally got my plan. I thought it was perfect because I could use Taria Akane. In the end, you're just the same person as Higa? This is what nature's like. No one can judge by looks. Now I know the evil face that committed this murder. Oh, you caught me. Ha! Time for me to go crazy. She just wanted to get out of here. Just time for an entire personality swap. Really? That's all? Something just doesn't feel right. I can't see with my eyes open anymore. Let's just end it. What the hell did we do this? Who did we trust? Monokuma, get it started. But Mata, look at her. You might be right. Ha, execution. Unfortunate for me. Hey Anna, is that really you? Were you just pretending to be a human being? Yes, this is the real me. I thought you guys were stupid you couldn't figure out my tricks. I guess you weren't so bad after all. So Tony, you really don't have regrets? Are you satisfied with your actions? Of course, it's my execution. Come on, if you say regret I couldn't get out of here. Lies. What? You wanted to get out of here. It's a lie! What, you think you know me? It's not a lie, because I did it because I wanted to get out of here. If you wanted to leave this place, you wouldn't have cut your own leg. Hatano did murder, but there must have been another reason. You're acting like a villain, but your body's trembling. Then the Hatano we just saw, she was just acting. She was acting crazy on purpose, then why'd she really kill? Kurakawa, I can't. Hatano. My hands were already dirty, and it might sound like an excuse. This is how I committed my murder. I was running down the second floor corridor at the time of the incident. At the time I saw Akane running. I realized Akane was covered in blood. I found that something had happened inside the switch room. I took a flashlight and Tamori was dying and there was a knife stuck in her stomach. Then why did you kill her and let Tamori live? Because that was not the case. According to the facts I've seen, when I discovered her, Tamori was almost dead. I knew she wasn't dead because she was breathing, but she was already at the brink of death. That is, until she was killed by you. If Tamori dies, Akane becomes the killer. I want to throw that thought away. I really wanted to think about the kind and good nature of Akane. Why did she stab Itori? I learned it was an accident before the trial. At the time, she had no idea. Becoming the black end of this case. I just couldn't leave her alone. I couldn't leave my friend alone while knowing everything, throwing everything away. To release me from becoming the blackened. I just couldn't stay put and watch Akane being... I wanted to call Inori to hear Tamori. But if Tamori's breathing goes out while I get Inori, then Akane would have been executed without fail due to my mistake of judgment. I couldn't allow that to happen. You're thinking of dying instead of Taria? And that includes the cut on her tendon. All that was to protect Taria? Then why hide it? Was that really the only reason? It is a commendable act to lay down one's life for others. It's not done without some courage. You deserve to be recognized, but if those were the only times it had not been necessary to go through trial, you could reveal the facts and accept the execution. Your intentions do not change, but at the time of trial, your appearance became as if you looked desperate. What? Sure, Makari, there's something else. I didn't tell you this as sound like an excuse. As Makari to doing this for Akane made just even a pretext. I tell you everything. Somewhere in my mind, there's also the desire to get out of this place. It must have existed in my mind. This was a meeting of apology to you guys. Even if my leg is paralyzed, everything is already too late. Motive. The first motive we got when Maki was murdered. The outside world was a terrible world that couldn't even run properly. The initial motive was the driving force. My co-workers and rivals, they couldn't even walk anymore. But if that's the case, what's the use in getting out with my legs fine? I know, but I wanted to check if it was real. Until I saw with my own eyes, I was nervous, and every day it drove me crazy. This wasn't recent. From the time Maki died, I've been running around in my head. I've had nightmares every night, and I was confused when I was with her. All that can be said of me is that the fact that everything has gone blank. I wanted to see it with my own eyes. understand the feeling, but you were weird. I don't feel a strong will like Mr. Yurihiga. The desire to go outside. Was it in conflict? Will you lose us for the chance to leave outside? Would you accept death for your dear friend? You were in conflict, were you? It wasn't as big as that, but by the time Maida pointed me out the cupboard, I had already given up as escaping. After everything was revealed. But the reason I got ugly and struggled until the end was because of Akane. I was relieved to learn that only an accident than Akane during the trial because even though after I was doomed to death of the culprit, Akane tried to deny me to prevent me from being executed. I'm the one who betrayed you all and committed murder. I'm a little happy inside. I wanted Akane not to die. Maida and Kizra couldn't be beaten. Why are you smiling? Of course you're angry. I knew you'd be disappointed, but I'm sorry. How can I laugh? You asked you're something strange. Thanks to me, you're able to survive safely. Is there nothing more simple than this? Hatano, damn it. In the end, I'm just an idiot who, in weighing between dreams and binds, I've done things that shouldn't be done. I'm satisfied. I could at least save Akane. I'm somewhat relieved. Although my dream ends here, you guys don't make the same mistake. Go after the same dreams you believe in. I chose to protect my friend rather than my dream. Now say goodbye to this world, but at least I have no regrets. It happens even if you don't say that? Well, I understand how it's a situation, but it's taking too long. If this is the game, you have to think about the person who plays it. Shut up, Monokuma! I don't know what Miss Satano thought and what circumstance caused the murder. The important thing is the result. In the end, the fact that you killed Tamori doesn't change a bit. Murder means the order has been broken. For a black Hindu who has broken it, an appropriate punishment is necessary. But for Miss Hanato and Miss Taria, it's whatever. In the end, it's because you wanted to go out, right? Why, Hatana-san a little while ago said it with her own mouth. She was conflicted because she wanted to go out. You're the one who created this situation. What am I saying? Are you that stupid? If you forget the outside world, this wouldn't happen. You just need to live comfortably here. If you want to get out, you have to go through a murder case. Everyone knows this already. Stop spouting your nonsense and go. Fine, I won't meddle with you guys. It's also because Midland passed already, so let's get started. The heart racing punishment time. I've made a very special punishment for Ayame Hatana, the ultimate sprinter, who is the black end of this case. Everyone, remember to get along. No, wait a minute, Ayama-chan, there's still many things. They're lesbians, by the way. They're in love, definitely. Let's give it all we got, all out. Monokuma, wait. I'm going to die. It's punishment time! Akane, I want you to be alive. Live. What are we doing? Is this a treadmill? Monokuma treadmill? Oh, it's a robot. And then, okay. Ultimate Sprinter, Dismantling Sports Day. Oh, and then it's gonna catch up with her and... Oh! The fucking goal sign was a knife. Oh, that's so cruel. Yahoo! The thrilling feeling of endorphins rising. It's fantastic profit. Too much flesh, blood, Hatano. Hatano was executed. So much cruelty, so mercilessly. I found myself closing my mouth to endure the vomit. Hatano willingly gave up her life. How many people can do that? That's the kind of person she was. Goodbye, Hatano. Evil, ugly. It's not a dream. How long do I have to continue this nightmare? That's up to you guys. It's a nightmare. If you guys forget, only the outside world live in harmony here. You mentioned this in the first draft. Forget the outside world. You've emphasizing the purpose. What is your point of keeping us inside? If I tell you that, it's a major spoiler. It may transform into a wave of protest. Shut up, bastard. Why do you do this to us? Why? Tell us the reason. Wouldn't be desperate to kill each other without knowing that. Then let's ask something different. The cost of entering an execution of this school is nothing but ordinary. What the hell are you? Where does this organization come from? There are a lot of other things. Then would you like a special service? Everything you see in the school. From the beginning, it was all here. I just modified it a tiny bit. I tried so guys to make you guys feel amazing despair, yet you guys ignored my warning. What is despair? Is it so fun to play with a person's life? Do you think I'm doing this just simply to enjoy it? Well, it's true at some point. Although I'm actually enjoying it, you guys don't know how important all this is. No clue at all. I'm feeling so worked up, but if I don't sleep, it's dangerous because I might sleep all day tomorrow. Of course, everyone did a good job. It seems to be a good despair finale, so at this time, this class trial is over. Good night. I have to move forward. My body would not move no fellow. Can we really get out of here? The second trial is forward. 4 people have lost their lives. Who will be next? Is it me? Tarya, calm down. Everyone is sad. It's all because of me. Kizuna-chan died because of me. Ayame-chan also died because of me. That's right. All because of me. All because of me. It's all because of me. Reprimanding for yourself. I all too well know that it wasn't because of Tarya, but I couldn't tell her anything. It's hard. It's hard to put yourself out, but taking care of each other's would be a real adulthood. All we do is Tarya, let her cry freely. It's ugly and noisy. Yeah, it's all because of you. I know you well enough. If you feel guilty like that, write a will and commit suicide already. What the fuck? Hey, what'd you say, Kinjo? Say it again. It's better to get behind a bitch blackened by, like you. Blackened? Kinjo, I say, why are you suddenly saying all this stuff? I hate this the most. In my true sense, a blackened is suddenly convicted of innocence to avoid the law. Blackened, you mean Tarya? Is there anyone else who fits? Shut up, this is bullshit. How many times would it be like the stabbing Tarya did Shimori was an accident? Is that really what you say to someone? An accident? Of course it was. Kizuna Tamori started it all. However, whoever makes the final blows, no matter the pretext, must be punished. Those two were punished and killed. Tarakane, more than them, who has the heart of this case more than them, is aligned and clean from it. Even if this woman had killed Tamori in an accident, the class trial, Akane made a false statement. What would have happened if we were caught in that lie? Is it too terrible to imagine? Tarakane almost put it all at risk. Instead, wash the blood to destroy evidence. As you stab Tamori, a girl who is willing to say that they're innocent is almost normal to support Tamori and give her first aid to call Inori as soon as possible. They do have a point. Please think of Tarya. The accident and a rescue might not have occurred because he was in a state of panic. If Tarya Akane was the Black, and it's certain for a fact that she would try to trick us with selfish thought. Stop talking. I'm not going to tolerate with you anymore. Alright, come down, Cobra Boxer. Get your fist down, manly boy. What you did is wrong as every sense. There's still a lot to talk about, but I don't think this is the right time. Everyone's on edge and confused. I'll talk with you all tomorrow morning. Hey, wait, dude. If you want to talk to me, then stop. Hey, you bastard. Are you just going to leave us like that? Hey! Why is Kinjo doing this? It's like he's creating a separation between us. What do we do now? Is Tarya going to recover? Losing a loved one is a difficult feeling. Tarya, are you okay? I'm sorry. Tarya, it's all good now. Let's all rest for today. I don't feel good after class trial. It's already late. New dawn. Go sleep. Let's do as Kurokawa says. I can't afford to think much right now. We'll listen to Kinijo tomorrow. Okay, I feel the more we do this, the harder it is to work. Everyone have a good night's sleep. Good night. Kinjo should lead. Everyone seems to be getting twisted, and our friends start to lose their lives. What I can do at times like these, play around with everyone and relax while learning about them? Follow my own dreams? Right now, I think it's impossible for anything to happen. I have no more power to think anymore. I returned to my room. When I left the courtroom and returned to the dormitory, I tried to chat a little, but everyone seemed to have no energy. Within those 3 to 4 hours, we lost very precious things. The storm bed that couldn't be comfortable is now feeling better than anything else. Tired. A desperate situation in which we chase the despair of death of our friends and do not be able know where we'll be able to stand up again. No, I don't think there's hope anywhere. I've only passed the second class trial. The despair is surrounding us. Oh? Hello, hello? I don't know if you're feeling comfortable. I don't know if you're comfortable. Don't you feel uncomfortable? It'd be weird if you were taught in public like this, but as long as you're comfortable. If it is comfortable, you're a true masochist? I came to bring the meal today. Your appearance is still there, so take good care of your health until then. By the way, who could have thought you would have been led like this? I'm really sorry to have to be like this and have to lock you up. In fact, it would be nice if I let anyone say to you, your body is one that cannot age, isn't it? Still haughty, huh? I like it. It will be alright when your turn comes. Huh? By that time, how many people will survive? What? I get you. It's all because the woman you love is still alive. There's nothing to worry about. I'll go there then, because if I'm not watching, I don't know what those guys will try to pull. So see you next time. Oh? Alright, and that is where we're going to end. Thank you for watching the stream. I'll see you later. Bye.